Hello, friends. Welcome in. Why is my light? There we go. There we go. My light was all funky. How's everyone? Welcome in. Hi, JJ. Hi, Franklin. Hi, Sully. How is everyone today? Welcome, welcome. It is Tuesday. It's my not stream day. But I would like I would like to possibly maybe finish this game before Zelda comes out. It probably won't happen, but we'll see. We'll see. I have one tiny little fly that's been like flying around this room all day, and it's very annoying. It's been very annoying. Good to see you, JJ. Funky like George Clinton or funky like old milk? Like funky old George Clinton. All right, let me get to the Astro, Astro, hello.
Good evening.
Good evening. All right, are we ready to go?
We are ready.
Friends,
We are ready.
only.
We are
Okay.
ready.
Post a friends. Only your friends will be able to join.
Remember
Okay.
to switch characters back.
Yeah, I did. I'm Carla. Pretty much regular George Clinton. He's been making music for a bit. Astro. Astro.
Right. Alright, join game. There we go.
Okay.
Join. Okay, it says joinable, but
Join.
Oh, there it goes.
I'm in. There we go. Yeah, I wasn't fully loaded in yet.
Good,
Take
good.
my watch off. I can't play mouse and keyboard with my watch on. It bothers
Fury.
me. It bothers me.
No,
Yeah, we
don't
were
let it
here.
bother. Don't let it bother. Alright, I leveled up immediately after joining. Amazing. Thanks, game.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Alright, how
Okay.
play a game? Alright, jump and E, wasn't that like the thing? Oh wait, it's I thought it was E.
Why
Oh no, I
is
have it here. Why can't I attack? Oh right, we're in like the safe area.
Oh yeah, we're in a safe zone.
I
I was like, I can't run. I can't do
I know,
anything.
I can't
All
attack
right,
my weapons.
go. So let's fast travel to our objective.
Alright, fix if you need, just in case. Fix if you need.
Oh yeah.
Oh, the Okami and whiskey is such a good sword. Fix if you need to.
Oh yeah, I'm all
Here's the
pinks
fast
now.
travel. I think only you can fast travel, right? Alright, so we are going to story quest, right? Because we have stuff in
Yes.
Venice Beach, but we have stuff in Ocean Avenue.
Yeah, I think we need to do
Venice Beach's story,
Venice.
right?
No, Ocean Ave is the story. It's got the yellow marker.
Oh, L. Blood Drive. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So if we do this one pretty quick, then maybe we could start side quest or whatever.
Oh,
We'll see. It just depends on how fast everything goes. Yeah.
Oh, don't worry. We will be.
We will be so fast. Right. All right. Where we go? Oh,
All your damage
outside.
and skills have been adjusted appropriately to match your host's level. Okay, thanks, game.
Oh yeah, that's right. It's
Oh,
like
here
in
we go,
this
here we go.
mall.
Right,
That's right.
I have
That's
like
right.
a little small kick. All right,
Yeah, here we go.
now.
Okay. Hold on. I have to blow my nose. Hold on a second.
Blow away.
Astro's skateboarding in to the rescue. Listen, Franklin, we broke up, okay?
Oh my goodness.
He's not
Do not
skateboarding to
feed
anybody's rescue.
into Franklin's delusion. Do not feed it.
Hey, can we just jump
Not.
over? Yeah, we can. Ah! Wreck
Did
it.
you just jump?
I did. I just
I
jumped
took a
over.
little- Oh, I got some.
You shouldn't be
fall
taking fall
That's
damage.
okay.
What's up,
I
Biggie?
took a
How
little
are you?
I took a little bit. That's
Gross.
okay.
It shouldn't be much, though.
Oh, here's like a little shambler. He was looking at the.
She was. She wanted to go see that movie, but I told her it's not a good movie.
You did.
I did. I was like, you don't want to see that movie. It's not good.
Or we can just.
And I spoiled the ending for her, like you like to do.
Me.
What do you
Spoil
mean? What do I
endings.
mean? You spoil everything.
I don't spoil endings though. I spoil bits and bobs that
I spoil bits
assume
and bobs.
that
He
people
says.
should have already known.
Ooh, he's all covered in oil.
The firefighter?
Cause he spoils everything. Yeah, that's exactly why. That's exactly why we broke up, because he spoiled too many of my movies that I liked. We went to go see Avengers, and he was like, oh, by the way, did you know that Iron Man wears an Iron Man suit? And I was like, this is just unfucking acceptable. The disrespect. Hi, Jade. Welcome in. How are you?
Absolutely wrecked. F.
Absolutely wrecked. Oh, he's spitting.
Fire?
Well, I
Oh,
don't
that's a
like
new
that.
one. Alright, we can. Oh, it's a firestorm slobber. That's one of the.
That's new.
Ones, but I bet he's weak to explosives.
Iron Man is Luke's dad dumped. Oh
He
my gosh.
isn't.
Destiny servers are down. Oh no! Destiny servers are down. That's the worst thing that could ever possibly happen. Doing great. How are you today? I'm doing really good, Jade. I'm doing really good.
Murdered him. I hope he doesn't explode. Were you? Oh, there you go. He wasn't that bad. I weakened him and destroyed him after that. Alright, let's go. Oh, it's over here.
Wow. Oh no, but it's dark and it's hard to see.
Oh yeah, how flashlight F? Was it F? H?
T? X?
T?
I don't know. I don't know.
Oh, it is F. It is X. I
haven't done it yet, Franklin. I haven't done it yet because I have to find a video of it, and then extract the sound. So it'll be done. It'll be done by this weekend. I have it right here. There's my little notebook right here. Porley's 2. Even though I absolutely hate it, Porley's will be done this weekend too.
I died.
Even though I asked Porley several times to pick something else, I will do it. Oh my god. I wasn't even technically... Yeah, but I wasn't even technically in the electricity anymore. I was like outside of it. But I guess that it was just close enough to my
it just spawns us right in here anyway, so that's pretty good.
I told you I would. No. That's what you want.
Alright, where is this?
That's what you want. You even went and extracted it and clipped it, and then when I deleted the clip, you got upset about the clip being deleted, so that's fine. We'll do it. It's not about me. It's about everybody else. Poorly broke the rules, and Poorly requested a clip of my voice, which is against the rules.
Alright, I'm at the sewer where we have to go.
Oh, going the wrong way. Going the wrong way.
Right,
if I may ask, what's the point of this game? Like the story? Mine and Plixie's interview. Thank you so much, Jade. That was so nice. So basically, there is a zombie outbreak in LA, in Los Angeles, California, and you are immune. You cannot be infected. You get bit at the very beginning of the game, and you have a bite, and you are immune, and you've not been infected. So right now we are going. We're kind of infected, but we're not turning into a zombie. But we are sick, and we have to dip. We're apparently going to possibly maybe go make a cure. It's not about you. It's about supporting Astro's skateboarding dreams. I want a clip of Pink singing My Heart. No, like, no. No. Thank you, lady. I appreciate it. I'm not the baddie here. I didn't say you were the baddie. I just said that you broke the rules, which is not a lie. The Walking Dead, so super intriguing. Yes. It's, I wouldn't say it's close to The Walking Dead or similar to The Walking Dead, other than, like, the zombie factor. But it's a lot of, it's fun. It's a lot of just hack and slash and just fun, silly, goofy ways you can kill zombies. And, yeah, I enjoy it. It's one of these games where it's like, you don't really have to, like, think about it. You can kind of just mindlessly slash. But it is fun. I can't pick this up. I'm full.
This looks open.
Oh yeah? Oh, it does.
Well, poorly. To be fair, it says it in the actual redeem itself. And you requested it anyway, and I can't tell anybody no, because I can't tell anybody no. So here we are. We're both feeling guilty about it now, and this is the awkward predicament that we're in.
1 million unaccounted for? Jesus Christ. They were under our fucking feet.
A lot of this game is what if you got to murder just so many people. So many people without consequences.
Well, you know there's gonna
But
be something
I'm gonna find
out of
something
this.
else. No, I told you this is what we're doing. I keep my word when I say I'm gonna do something.
It was open from inside.
You told me no. It says we're not having this conversation anymore. It says it in the channel point redemption, but it's fine. It'll be done this weekend. I just have to find a way so that I don't have to hear that command when it goes through. Like, you guys can hear it, but I don't want to have to hear my own voice.
Oh, there's a note
This
here.
place is
Accurate.
A
hella
note?
creepy.
A nerd? This is like,
How
it's
long
like
are you gonna
so
have it on
dark,
reading?
I'm like having a hard time seeing stuff.
The flashlight? It's pretty good.
It's on. I have it on,
really?
but it's just like,
Maybe brightness.
Yeah.
is-
no, listen. I don't like when you only have like one small area of like focus is like what I don't
Well,
like.
in here's pretty bright. Oh, I don't want to get too ahead of you. Alright, I'll wait for you in this.
Can you actually hear the song? I just like making you exasperated. Well, you're doing a good job, but we're not talking about it anymore. Everybody gets what they want. Everybody follows the rules. It's fine.
Stewart, the body bags just help the autophage grow.
More to life than there's more to life than skateboarding. So I get some extra cash for another Supernatural con. Oh my gosh, Jade, that sounds so awesome. Oh, we talked about this. We talked about Diener Sam. That's right. I remember.
Oh, we found the key
Have a
card?
good rest of your night,
Out of this
Jade.
morgue?
Do we have the key card? We must if we went through.
We did. Yeah.
Nice.
Which was odd. I don't remember. Yeah.
Noise.
Too little, too late.
Well, one of us
But
must have.
What's done is
Very
done.
nice.
Alright, so we go out. Oh, cutscene.
Oh.
Oh, kill them all. Okay. I love this for us.
And now
Oh, don't touch the goo. No, I touched the
they
goo.
are immune though, so that sucks.
Of course they are. Of course they are
They're in
immune.
The little hazmat suits, yeah. Oh, but I am like
Caustic
going ham on
Walker
these guys.
Zompedia. Wait, so are they poisonous?
No,
Oh
no,
shit,
they're just
you just
immune
knocked
to
him
it.
out.
They're just immune to it. The
He's
caustic
not.
one explodes. He explodes
Yeah.
into the goop.
Can I hit him in the head?
Probably. Alright, heal.
Yes.
Oh wait.
Boop.
Right here one. Oh, the right here we have to break. Oh, there you go. In the head, right in the head. Fury is absolutely ready. Let's go. Can you see me how fast I'm just?
Enter the main dome. Yes, good luck. Good
How do we-
luck, Jade. Good luck. Good to touch it.
Gross.
Yeah.
Am I clean it up first, or do we just? Okay,
You can just yum.
I did.
Oh, this
Where
is
they
gonna
first
be.
Find the blood
This is gonna
sampling
be
machine.
a real keep your lunch down challenge.
How do
Yup,
we?
yup.
How do
Right
we?
here.
Oh, here.
There we go.
Okay.
Blood
Blood
sampler.
sample.
Fix the power
Of
supply.
course
All
the
right.
power's gone.
Specimen.
Where does
Papa
it go?
Echo Alpha. Dr. Zephron is Papa. Dr. Dorian is Echo, and Dr. Whatever that name is.
Whoa. All right. How do I do this? T.
Um,
Is that my thing?
I don't know.
Yes.
What are you doing? Are you getting blood samples?
I found it. Good clip of
Good job.
processing in my head will go on. One Canadian is just as good as another. I mean, I'm not. I guess so. I guess so. I just listen.
Was it like making these guys?
Good evening.
I
Dr. Dorian.
don't like
Please enter your authorization code.
me. I don't want to listen to me or watch
What
me.
remaining? I've just
And a sound command is just gonna be
Is this Dorian?
not a good time for
You guys
everyone.
could have worn name badges.
Echoes are the
So
screaming ones,
I will
huh?
give poorly theirs because I said I would, but it is
Here's
against the rules from
Subject
now
Echo.
on.
Should be a sign of Dorian here.
I like you. Thanks.
Seems Dorian was
Search
called to
Bay
help at Bay 3.
Rest in pieces, Dr. Dorian.
Ooh, that's rough.
Nothing here.
What's against the rule? I left chat for a moment.
Code.
So we have, there's a channel point redemption. There's 2 channel point redemptions that are sound commands. One is like a personal sound command that like just you can use, and then the other one is like a community sound command that like everyone can use. And the rule is that these sound commands are not of me. I'm not gonna record a special sound command for anybody. You know, you're not gonna take a clip of me saying something and make it a sound command. The rule is, like, I'm not making sound commands of me. And Poorly asked for one anyway, and I said I would do it.
Sounds like
So.
you're done. Now, the sample will
But-
dispense from the side.
It's against the rules, no one else can have it.
Are there worm-like things wriggling around in it?
What?
Kidding. We're good.
Working on your stand-up routine, Doc? Heading back now.
Get out of here! Get out of here! I know, when are we getting the Newman? Ah, shit.
Okay, Doc.
The Newman one.
Not so fast. I still need the equipment.
It only says up to your discretion, and then, but it does say that I will not make sound commands. I wrote it in there that I don't make custom sound commands.
Where is it?
Hopefully at the lifeguard HQ. I sent someone to retrieve it from the pier, but lost contact.
Unless I had to rewrite it because it wouldn't fit anymore because I kept getting bullshit commands from people.
Did you get this mind-blowing perk?
Smiling, so it must be good news, right?
Mind-blowing perk right here.
So myself and Dr. Myers
Where?
checked
Where?
results twice.
Right on top of the...
Ooh, nice, nice. But anyway,
I'm very sorry, but
we're done.
you,
We're done talking
well,
about
you
it.
tested
We're done
positive.
talking about it
Okay.
Now we have phone lines ready.
because it just makes me feel like an asshole.
Otherwise, we have grief counselors who have been very
Okay.
helpful.
What are
Sort of
you
diagnosis.
talking
They may
about?
be able to help you find some, well, some resolution.
Sure.
I'm
So
kidding, I know
when
what
can I
you're
get out
talking
of here?
What about a sound command
Well,
of
I'm
Dragonite
afraid that's
singing "My Heart Will Go On"?
impossible, and because we're still
Wow,
figuring out the
you're
nature of the
just
infection, we unfortunately can't
really
try today.
pushing it,
We've already
aren't you,
had-
What are
Franklin?
you talking about? I feel fine.
Ooh, look it! Can we go
Let's notify
there?
the medical examiner, and it is
Can we?
likely he's
Santa
going to
Monica.
want
We're
to
back at
develop-
Santa
I
Monica.
want to go to the Ferris
Would you have a
wheel.
menu prepared when you're ready?
No. All right, Sergeant. Yeah, I'm not gonna let you people cut me apart. You're wrong. I'm fine. All right, stop him.
Wait, how far in the water can we go? Oh, you're shooting them.
You're like, did they just blow up?
No,
that one has,
I
like-
saw. I heard the gunshot. How far in the water can I go? Can I just go forever? Am I walking? Oh, this is the end. This is the end. This is the end. What if I could, though? What if you could just run? Like, what if you could just yeet out of here?
That would be kind of
I thought
absurd.
it was... Oh, that's not the right button. I don't remember how to turn the flashlight on.
For me it's X.
It is X, yeah. See, I have it on. It's just not the brightest.
Ooh.
Just like me. Not
We're
the
not
brightest. Alright. So,
should have leveled
oh,
up
can we
from
go in
that
here? Oh, we can go in here.
Hold on, let me see my new card. Shut him down. A well-timed block triggers a forceful explosion. Okay, that's not for me. Where'd you go?
In here, but... Oh, okay, so it does keep going. Just follow the blood trail, I guess. Not suspicious. Or scary at all. A fire axe.
I'm a-coming, I'm a-coming.
How do I scrap? Oh yeah, I have to keep an eye out for my food. Okay. It's not here yet. It is not here yet. It's not.
I
Oh,
got
this was a loop. This was a loop.
Shoddy.
Okay. This did nothing. It was just a loop.
Yep.
DC Master Keycard. Okay. Okay, Dr.
objective is
Reed's
nearby.
blood drive from the lifeguard. Oh, lifeguard HQ is over here.
Yes, right here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, there's some incendiary walker. Come on, blow up. Blow up. Thank you.
It's almost like funny to use guns in this game. Because I did not use guns in the first two.
Hello, friendly lifeguard.
I mean, I feel
Like I
like
used like strictly,
they might-
not because I didn't. I just had a melee character and she got like crazy blade damage. I played as what was her name? What was her
honestly,
name?
I feel
Lei?
like these characters are mostly, not all of them, melee.
Couldn't get any
Well,
weird-
yeah.
Fuse door, fuse door, fuse
I'm
door.
hearing whales.
Oh my god, purple. I hear Zamboni in here.
Try it. Just try it.
How do I... Oh, we don't. Alright, I think we just go. Yeah. I think we just go. Oh, there's a one. Can you?
I
You
got
can't,
this one.
right? This one. You can disarm
Got
it?
that
I
one.
couldn't disarm
I got it. I got it.
Why can't I
I don't
disarm
know.
this
What,
one
I
either?
got it already.
Oh, the gun. Alright, I got this one. Oh, zombie.
Yeah. I shot him in the leg. What's the whales?
Military knife? Okay.
Where whales? Where whales? Yeah, you don't hear the whales? You don't hear the whales? They're whales. They're going, ooh.
Those are whales? Isn't that like something else
Yeah.
making a sound?
No, they're whales. It could be like it could be like like we're about to like walk in a room that's got like something playing.
Oh wait, this is where we have to be. We have to like search this area. I'll wait for you over here, on the other side of the fuse door.
Wait, where?
There you go.
Oh, here.
And we go in here.
Okay. You know, people listen to whales to go to sleep too. Like, this is like stressing me out. This isn't relaxing.
There's a bursted. I bursted on me.
You did amazing. Great job. What is falling off the ceiling? Dang.
Probably zombie parts.
Zombie farts, is that what you said?
Zombie parts. There's a zombie in here. Oh, there's multiple zombies in here. Can we open it?
I can't shoot through the thing. There's a button right here.
Unfriendly
Oh,
lifeguards.
there you go. Kill them all.
Just die. No, I'm out of ammo.
Oh god, I see.
Got him.
Alright, nail gun, nail gun.
Rapid dash. There's a rapid dash in chat, guys. Rapid dash, rapid dash, rapid dash, rapid dash, rapid dash. Can you just like not with all this?
How did I die? From what?
Oh, because there's a big boy behind you.
Over here.
Oh,
An Inferno Crusher. Shit.
no, that guy was
Jump fast enough. I didn't jump fast enough. Oop. I'm trying. I'm coming to you.
I know. I believe in you 100%.
He's almost dead. He's almost dead. He's almost dead. He's almost dead. There he
You
is.
know
Okay.
how it
Leave
is.
us alone.
Okay. Let me get you.
Yeah.
Let me get
We've seen
you.
worse.
Nice.
Oh, I have another. How do I forgot to use abilities. Oh, it's Q.
Dude, my
Overhead
my
smash.
what you call it, ads manager in OBS is like being funky. I have to fix it. It's like, we
Yeah.
respect your privacy, and it's like this big bar like over my ads manager, so I don't know when ads are coming. And I'm like, that's wonderful. Totally defeats the purpose. Alright. In here.
In the through where the
These are all
zombies
locked.
were. Yeah, through where the zombies were. But we can check out the other rooms. Oh, there's
Where's this
a
whale
here. We
coming
need
from?
Randy's locker key.
Poorly. I didn't catch it.
Right over the yeah over there. Alright.
Wait, is this oh searchable? No, neither of these are searchable.
I'll wait for you in here. There's a door.
Do you guys remember?
Oh, I can check.
You guys
Oh, I can't.
remember that bully fucking Rapidash right at the beginning of Arceus? That
yeah.
alpha, that alpha fucking Rapidash that was like right at the end, the
Yeah.
beginning of Arceus, and it would just fuck everybody's day up.
Yeah.
Fuck that Rapidash specifically. Enough with the
Enough with
whales
the whales
already?
already.
No, I want to listen to it forever.
Alright, I'm here.
Forever.
I'll deactivate. I'll wait. I'll leave this area, and then when you're ready, because I gotta go to the bathroom. So when you're ready, you just play.
Go to the bathroom because I'm gonna move some stuff around out of my
Okay.
storage. Get rid of all that. Get rid of this. Get rid of this. Pearly, I can't believe you counted it. That's 10 hours of whale song? Also no, Franklin, also no. Also no. Also, the answer to that is no. You guys are just trying to give me a brain aneurysm, aren't you? You're trying, aren't you?
Bundy, can you hear me? Zephron, I did it. I locked the
So,
pier
this is what I
checkpoint.
need.
It's
Oh my gosh, my ear itches.
You need to get back there and unlock it.
Alright, so can I match? Oh, I
Reading
can
the
match
data vault.
level.
Oh, oh God.
Two. See, these are only one. This is 2 levels. 15k.
I'm well aware that.
Let's do that one.
I think.
Nice.
Hiya, huh?
How many hours of whale song can I get? I'm doing nothing. No, Poorly, listen to me. I told you that I would do it, and I will do it, but you are the only one. What?
So stop panicking and get to the pier. Oh fuck! Oh fuck! Oh God! Oh God! Ha! Okay. Ha! Okay. Oh fuck!
Okay, there we go. I'm back. My mom just likes to like yell stuff up the stairs to me sometimes. And I'm like, bro, you can't just be yelling profanities. I feel like Pinky's just trying to watch her stories, drink a glass of wine, and fucking up her nice clean house. Why? Why do you feel that way? Those look really good. I got a taco. As per request for being there. Where'd Astro go? Astro back? He's not back yet?
Right, it returned.
Oh, he
Oh, the
literally
whale song is still
returned as I was like, where's Astro?
Yeah, I was in the bathroom.
No, I know, but like,
Oh.
I also left for a moment and returned.
Oh, good job. And now we both returned. As planned.
Uh-huh. As planned.
Just as planned.
Exactly as coordinated.
Just as planned, yep. I was like, oh, are you ready? And then you were like, yeah, I'm ready.
He went to
and then
Massachusetts?
here we are.
No, it was New Hampshire. It was New Hampshire. He
Right.
went to New Hampshire.
Alright, enough with the whale song. I mean, it's
Fine. Turn it off.
You have to get in the circle.
I was just outside of it.
Damn it.
Yeah.
That means Dr. Bundy didn't make it. The blood drive must still be at the end of the
Yeah.
pier.
Then I'll go get it.
Ooh,
No
we're going
blood
to the
drive,
theater.
no way out of LA, right?
A theater.
Just be careful.
Pier? Not
The pier
theater?
was
So
locked
where
down,
did we
but
land
Bundy
on
had
the...
key. Try
If,
to find
listen,
him.
Bundy, got
if
it.
you can find a non-DMCA version of Dragonite singing My Heart Will Go On, and it's under 7 seconds long, you may use it. Alright, now what?
I got
Dr.
a
Bundy
new
at the
car
pier.
slot, so I'm doing that.
Oh. So you're saying there's a chance? Sure.
No. I mean, yeah. Alright, let's track down Dr. Bundy.
How W? You're gonna say how dare?
Right.
Okay. So do we leave here?
Yeah. Yeah, the door that was locked is open.
Ah.
I'm getting real tired of
I
this
see.
chase.
Let's go to the pier.
Green zone.
Green zone?
Looks like a regular
it says.
Saturday night.
Bring only what you need.
Regular Saturday
You guys
night.
seen Dr. Bundy?
Oh, I two-shotted them with one bullet.
Whoa. What blew up?
Oh, there's a... what is it?
Back up on me. No, don't touch me. Oh, I chopped him in half.
Got him with the nail gun. Ooh, this guy.
Dark.
aimed directly at me.
Should I couldn't learn last night? I'm gonna go out and physically carry him away from the tree. Ooh.
Oh, Bundy! There you are.
Bundy? Oh, here
This
he
is Bundy. Woo! I definitely... I'm down. He knocked me back into the poison.
Oh, can I get you? I can.
But now I might be in the poison.
Oh, you're good.
Come on,
Not
save the
poison,
drama
man.
for the movies.
Back.
Well, let's go.
Master key guard of the key.
Oh, man.
Look at his little tootsies. They're so gross.
Do not gross. There's no need for that.
Okay, now we go in here. Alright.
Okay, get to the end of the pier, get this stupid laptop, and get the fuck out of here.
We are six main story missions away from the end. According to... Can we see it? Quests. I don't think we can see it. So at the beginning of the game, when you load the game in, it tells you, like, how many you're at. And we are at 18 out of 24. So we're close to the end of the game. I just don't know, like, how long that's going to be, like, time-wise. Which, like, we're trying to go, which is why we're kind of just...
Oh, there's Preston? I don't know who Preston
We're
is.
kind of focusing a little bit on, well, Preston's safe, so he's probably got a key card. Yeah, there it is. So we're kind of focusing on the main stories right now. Just to see if we can get close. Okay, I opened the safe if you didn't get stuffing at it.
Oh. Where's the safe? Oh, it's right
Where
here.
we just were. It was Preston's safe. It was next to
I
Preston.
didn't get anything from it.
You didn't get anything from it? I just got money from it. I didn't get like a weapon or anything.
Oh, okay. Maybe I got that money. Cause I think money is like shared loot.
I think so.
Ooh.
Oh, it was doing the thing.
That sounds.
Oh,
Alright, we're gonna get a new
that sounds
zombie.
new, he says. Okay.
We're probably getting a new
Got the
zombie.
feet off. A new Zambipedia. Oh, he's gonna explode.
Yeah, it's gonna blow. Ooh, he blew up a lot.
Alright, let's go in here. Needs bucket of fish dorky. I mean, it's just a glass door. Let me in.
Oh, yeah, we need a key.
Oh, it's a massacre.
Ooh, I knocked him. He's being electrocuted. Amazing. I love that for me. I love that for me. Knock him back. In the water.
I can't. I have the weak kick.
Oh, he's a
just
riot gear.
resistant. He's just resistant.
Yeah.
But we got it.
There we go. Yep. Okay, can we... yeah, we can turn this off after they're dead.
Okay. Oh, maybe we can just...
And then we can go through it. And then we can go through it. Got to lurk for a bit? Are you going to play some Genshin? You got to lurk to Genshin? You got to Gen lurk? Genshin lurk pack? Adult things? Gwouts. Gwouts. Couldn't be me. And it's definitely by choice. And definitely not because I can't find someone to love me.
Oh, yeah? You think you're so scary?
Wait, can we go in here? Ooh.
Yeah, this'll do.
Ooh. It's like a little arcade.
Oh, yeah? Is this where we have to go?
I don't know.
Wasted a lot of hours here. No fun without the power on.
Does that mean we can put the power on and play some arcade games?
That'd be fun.
We also have, what is that marked on our minimap? Oh, that's
I'm not
probably
sure.
the way.
Oh, is that the Lost and Found?
I don't think so. Oh, there's a fuse place?
Yeah,
Fuse place?
it is. It's the Lost and Found. Because
place?
because I did the thing on accident.
Fuse place? Oh god, help me!
I'm coming.
Never mind. I was just shocked at this guy that just scared me.
Shocked.
Literally.
Whoa. Shocked.
Get it? Please get it.
Shocked.
Shut up. You're bullying me.
I'm not. I'm laughing with you. I was doing it with you.
I know. Alright, what was that lost and found thing you said you had to do?
Ooh. No. I
Oh, we need
changed
power.
the
We do
quest
have
on
to power.
Just
accident.
need to get the power working
Oh.
again.
Oh,
why'd you
hold
go
on, there
to the second
is-
floor?
There's a door in the corner.
Is it this door? It is.
Ooh, can I do
Is this-
power
is
now?
this
Oh, here we go.
unarmed?
Certificate to operate this.
Here we go.
Got it? Okay.
I see button, I press. Ooh,
One of my
shiny.
favorite things about this game that I just find is like a funny little detail is the squeaky shoes.
This,
Like when you walk
this,
through
and
blood,
this,
your
and
sneakers
this, and
squeak.
this, and this. Yep. Perfect.
Here
What
goes
what
the
did
element of
your character say?
surprise.
Mine was like, oh, it's this one.
Use the power slide.
Well, funny mistake, it's this one. And then he starts like fucking getting angry. He's like, shit. Well, you gotta label your shit. Come on. And then he gets it. Oh, it's this one.
Oh no, she was making our joke about wrestling, and she's like Sunday, Sunday, Sunday.
Very nice. All right, let's go get that door open. I bet there's gonna be. Oh my god.
We'll see who gets the last laugh.
I can't see what it is yet.
Did you see it?
This is the kind of
Mm-mm.
stuff they write creepypasta about.
I didn't see it though.
I
No.
didn't see it either. Player one ready.
Oh, you're
Okay.
the assholes who start.
Roll.
Whoa.
Oh my god. Now he makes scream electricity. That's so absurd.
Yeah, no shit.
Okay, we got that. Was that the new one? There's no way that was the new one.
No, because it like laughed.
Yeah. Head into the fun fair.
Bruno wins. That was funny. Like
Wait, did you
Katana
say
wins.
that?
Yeah. He did, but he did it like in Mortal Kombat.
But did I say it or?
Yeah, yeah, your character said it. He went, Bruno wins.
That's funny. You're funny, Bruno.
Shit. This is like crack to the moaners.
Oh, there's a whole thing over here.
Empty skill slots. What?
Yeah, we got
Oh, I've
like
got
a
an empty
card
skill
slot.
slot.
Yeah.
We didn't get another card. We got another slot. Okay.
Right. Oh, we can open
Mhm.
this. Look, we opened the shortcut. Now we can go to the beach for me. All right, cool. All right, I will keep exploring. You put that card on.
Okay.
All right, how do we? Can we?
What are
jump-
these Newman cards, though?
I know it's almost. We're like almost there, and we haven't given a single one.
It's gotta be like the end or something ridiculous.
Probably. I mean, if they critique that for like, were a lot of Dead Island players like annoyed that they couldn't like explore at the end of the game? Oh my god.
So,
Needs-
okay.
What is it? The
So
code
I
was
tell
10.
this story all the time about Dead Island, not Dead Island 2, but Dead Island Riptide, which is technically the second Dead Island. So it didn't have any like progress protection. Now, what I mean by that is I was not like on the final quest. I was not ready for the final quest. I was not anywhere near the final quest.
Oh,
I was doing a side quest and I was exploring and I walked into a room in like a building that I clearly wasn't supposed to be in yet, and it actually like forced my quests like forward because I like went to the end of the game accidentally. So like it glitched my game and like forced me to like finish the game without being like ready to finish the game. Because there was no like quest protection or like progress protection, or like basically it was like if you went into this area it like triggered like the end, which was like stupid annoying, and it was something that I think a lot of people were really really fucking pissed about because it was not like this room, this building was not like hidden. Like it wasn't like hard to find, you know, like so other people also like very easily stumbled across this building.
right.
So that was something that a lot of people were pissed
Yeah, it's
about,
not like
and they
this
were
where
like,
things are blocked.
yeah. So I think that they took a lot of complaints from
We need Ferris
the
wheel
other
as
games.
well. Nice.
Here.
Oh, I'm joining. Yep, sure. Oh, we're going on the
Need
Ferris.
to stop it first, though.
Uh huh.
Oh. line jumpers, kill them all. Line jumpers.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Hey, no cutting in line.
Oh my god, Bruno, shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Line jumpers are people. Yeah, people who cut the line.
Yeah, I.
Oh, you need to move, Astro. You need to move. You need to move.
I am sorry.
Yo, I need a hand.
I know it's okay. I was just concerned.
Yeah, I got
it to you.
It's okay, we're right.
I gotta get out of here so I can get to you.
Help me out.
Okay, hold on.
I am. That's okay, I'll respawn.
No, I'm gonna get to you.
No, I'm dead.
Oh. It's trying.
Where are you, though?
I was. Oh, didn't you see me debating them away from your dead body?
Trying. Right here. I will try not to die myself. Wow. Blow him the fuck up. Oh, he didn't take that much damage from me. What the hell? Oh, wait, his arms are done. We're the one that. Oh, we sliced them in half. Get wrecked. Oh, you ulted? Nice.
I'm in Fury, yeah. I like that you just used your fucking fists in Fury. Like you're
But you
literally
have,
clawing
like,
into people.
Yeah, but you can have what is it, upgrade, and you can. I just unlocked the spitty one. I can now spit on them. Okay.
You spit on them?
Yeah,
That seems
yeah, like
gross,
the
bro.
acid stuff. Yeah, let me see if I can.
That sounds disgusting. Oh, that's me. Wonderful. No, I'm back. It was just lagged for a second. Can you come back?
Yeah,
Okay.
or trying to.
I don't understand what else I'm supposed to do, honestly.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I just didn't know what happened. I thought
Like
I lost.
other than literally restarting my router like
No.
every morning and every night, like I don't know what to do.
Alright,
I am backed in a corner bad here.
Oh, Fury's
I'm down.
ready again. Let's go.
Nope, I'm down.
Oh, but these guys are immune. The hazmat ones
Uh-huh.
to the toxic sludge.
Uh-huh.
Am I immune to it? Kinda. Oh, they're pressure. Oh, I just smacked him. Oh.
I'm down.
Oh, you're down? Oh.
Mhm.
Alright. What got you? There's nothing here.
The acid.
Help would be great right about now.
Oh,
nap,
you
friend.
melted. You melted. That's
Move
okay.
somewhere with better internet. If only it was that simple. I'm not even sure that would fix it. I'm not gonna lie.
Probably not. Yeah.
Hi,
Let's
Wolfie.
get this
How are you?
Missed the freaking three.
Told ya.
Alright, did it. Alright, here's the
A
control
lot
key.
of bodies here.
No, I know. I know what the sarcasm is. But I wish. Like, to have fiber internet, man. Something else.
Oh, well, I didn't tell you. I think, like, not yet, because, you know, how things are here in this little island, but I think I might get fiber soon. Like, and I think we might
Ooh.
upgrade to 1 gig.
Ooh,
so
moving
excited
on
for
up
that
in the
news.
world.
We're moving
at you.
up, we're moving up.
Moving on up in the world.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Look
but
at
we don't
you
have
go.
fiber yet.
No way.
But we do have the new
Higher.
modem already,
Yeah.
which is giving more problems than.
Really?
Yeah,
That's so
that
funny.
we tried. Remember?
Hell
We,
are
like,
you?
Yeah.
Ain't no birthday party up in here.
oh, there he is. There's the new guy.
Lost
Oh, is it gonna be
ya.
like a clown face? One, please.
Whoa. Hey.
Oh, it's like this. Oh, there. It's a butcher.
Oh, it's got a clown face on though. Gross.
Yeah. So they have sharp. If it's gonna be, yeah. See, it's the butcher from the last game. They have sharp claws, like sharp. Their bones and their arms are like filed down to sharp.
Nice.
Yeah, not really nice. It's actually pretty gross.
Fun
They're
never
fast.
stops around
If
here,
if they're
man.
gonna do the same as like the old versions, they're fast.
Why'd we
and they
even
charge.
get on the Ferris wheel? What was the point of getting on the Ferris wheel?
Not sure.
Oh, it's getting to the other side. That was the point.
Oh.
There's plenty more where that came from, you Party City reject.
Can we not open a shortcut?
Ooh, I almost walked right into that. Where is it? Where... Can I disarm it?
There was nothing for
Oh.
it. What the hell? That's weird.
No, there was, but I must have disarmed it. And...
You already tripped it. Oh. The Whispering Blade? Excuse me?
It is completely disrupted when I woke up with no hot water. Yeah, that happened to us over the weekend. My mom's boyfriend had to come and essentially replace our hot water heater. Which is like not what anyone wants to deal with, you know? A couple grand you're not really expected to pay and shit. Sucks. There's a workbench over here. Oh, and a mod. The agile perk.
One nice I can fix up everything. Let's go.
Can't do a lot of repairs. I spent all my money.
I have a decent amount of money.
Oh, do you?
In the game, yeah.
It's only a week old. Just kind of freaking out later about Pilot Light. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Pilot Light will do that. Pilot Light will do that. Unfortunately,
The amount
ours was
of money,
not
though,
the Pilot Light.
that it takes to like match levels now is absurd.
It's stupid. I know. It's so annoying.
I feel like they should lower it. Or just let me upgrade it to, like, yes, let me upgrade it, but, you know, per materials instead of fucking just the money.
Yeah.
It is absurd.
Too much.
But we need a key to get in here, right? Oh, we don't. Oh my god.
Oh yeah, there's all of the stuff now. Insect larva.
What's
Yeah,
up?
so we need like guts now.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
For like the powerful mods and stuff, yeah.
Oh yeah, let me see if I can put one on. Oh, it's a powerful mod. I can still only put the unstable
A
one,
dust
which is
skull.
make them explode.
Interesting.
I still haven't been able to get screamer lungs. I only
Yeah,
got
there's
one.
some that I don't have. Like, I don't have
feel like those are rare.
larvae, whatever. However you get the larva. Ooh, an improvised hammer. Interesting. I need to start getting rid of some stuff. Like, I've got too much stuff, and I literally only use, like, so many weapons, you know?
I have a little bit of stuff over, but it's like backup weapons in case we're like in a really big fight that we don't do enough damage, and I'll start breaking everything.
Yeah.
But besides that, I only use like three weapons.
Yeah, like, I really like my, my machetes. My
Yeah.
katanas.
Big katana, yeah.
My katana wins.
Bruno.
Got a churro. Oh, it's got like strawberry in it.
Oh yeah.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was looking at the same.
Very nice.
391's my lowest. Oh, 384 is my lowest. Okay. I'll have my thing pick it up. Alright. Let's go. I was trying to pick up more stuff, but I will just
That's okay.
I'll just wait. Hi Celano, how are you?
Wait,
Welcome in.
I don't know where we. Oh, I think it's this way.
We have to go
Oh,
to the
no,
end
it's
of the
not.
pier. So we have to go this way to the end of the pier. Wait, hold on. So wait, go to the go
Oh
to
my
your
God, the
right
end is pretty far.
from where you were. Yeah. Like if you look at the map, it's over
Ah, over here, we got.
where?
Other way.
What? My sparkly weapon. It is a honed mutilator. No, that's not what am I using right now? This one? An electrocutioner Wakasaki. So it's like a kind of like a katana, I guess. Dead Island has been so much fun. Honestly, I did not expect to have as much fun as I'm having. Right now, it's kind of a little... I don't want to say dull, because dull's not the right word, but like we're like doing story stuff right now. So it's not as much like zombie slashing. But it's been a lot of fun. It's been so much fun. I know it's not really your vibe, but it is a lot of fun with friends if
Oh, stupid clown fucker. Yeah.
if you were looking for something fun to play with some friends that doesn't really take a lot of focus and concentration. Just hack and slash. Hack and slash. Everyone assumes no, I know you play horror games, but I didn't think like a zombie slasher like this was like your kind of thing. Like no, I know you do horror games. You are much braver than I am. This isn't really a horror game. This is kind of a... I would almost call it a looter shooter without the shooter part, because like it's not really the focus. Like a looter slasher, a looter slasher. All right, so we just jump down, I guess.
Alright,
Looks
we're gonna have
even
a
worse
boss
up
fight. I bet.
close.
Left 4 Dead, really?
This thing looks
Left 4...
like
I would say this is like
Hopefully
this
not
is very
melted.
Left 4 Dead-esque. That's so funny. I loved Left 4 Dead back in the day. You did a real world thing this week. What'd you do, Wolfie? Something meat world? I wish I wish I was braver.
That's a fucked up collection.
People love to see scary games, and I just
Buy a
can't do
laptop.
it. I'm such a baby. I'm just a baby. Real world? What's that? I know. I've never heard of such a thing. I feel like you're making it up. I can't see anything.
Here it is.
Oh, you found.
Found ya.
You joined a D&D
It's
group?
okay, man. You
An
won't be needing this
in-person
anymore.
D&D group? Disgusting, Wolfie.
Let's see.
No, honestly, good for you. Honestly,
Yeah, baby.
real talk, good for
We
you.
got this.
I know that,
Aye.
not to air your dirty laundry, but I know that you said you've been kind of having a hard time lately, so that'll be
I
good for you.
told you he'd
That'll
get
be good for you to be out with people. These churros that I got are so good.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's like his arm bone that's been like filed. My wrist!
Keep away from me, you slimy motherfucker!
Yes, Carlos.
That's it.
I don't like this.
Right now.
Oh, we're fighting this. What? We're fighting.
Bucho the clown. Alright, Bucho. Oh, his hands are like immune to our splashes.
Great.
We are 100% murdering the city.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw my grenade back up. Oh no, he's running. Where is he running? Yes.
Oh, he recovers when he recovers when he needs. Okay, so we can't let him eat.
No. Oh, okay. I don't like clowns, but
I don't
these
like clowns
enemies, if they are if like they're gonna continue to be in the game like after this particular boss type.
They are.
I
Oh,
hate
my
these
God.
enemies, the butcher enemies, which is I guess they're what they're equivalent to. Yeah, I didn't like them in the first game, and I don't like them in this one.
Yeah, they are absurd. Grab the bullet.
Ooh.
Oh, we got
April. Oh snap! It's an apricot. Hi guys, welcome in. April, how are you liking The Last of Us? Is it your first time playing? What do you think of it? It's my favorite game ever. Tell me all of the things. Thank you so much for the follows. How is everybody? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let me get safe so I can chat with you guys. I don't even know if there's a place to be safe. Let's just go over here. Let's go over here and stand in a dark corner. We're gonna stand in a dark corner and talk to raiders for a second. I'll be back, Astro. Welcome, welcome. How was your stream? How was Last of Us Part 1? It is my favorite game in the world. I absolutely love it. It's been a great playthrough so far. Only thing I don't like at this point is my laptop can barely run it. Oh my god, are you playing on PC? I have a brand new, I would say, top of the line, quote unquote, PC, and it struggled on my PC. Like, it was rough when it released on PC. But welcome in, Raiders! Thank you for being here. If you guys do not know who I am, hello, hi, welcome. My name is Krista, or Pinxel. Most people just call me Pink. I am a variety streamer. I play a little bit of everything, ranging from things like Lego games, Nintendo games, simulators, shooters, survival games, pretty much everything in between. I do have a very quick video that I like to show whenever we get a raid to see if this is someplace you might want to hang out, get to know us, spend some time, and just kind of see like what we're about, what to expect, and all that jazz. I hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see you in just a moment. Hi there, friends. Are you a human being with disgusting bodily functions?
We were like 2 seconds away from the bike song.
I wanna ride my bike! Hey, look, Nate. It's Uranus. I am Cat. I can help you. Look at that donk. I'm sorry that you didn't get to experience the butts. And then they show up and we talk about booty.
I wanna be forever.
How are her boobs not falling out?
First you're like, yeah, then you're like, yeah.
You can't do anything with human meat, which is kind of boring. He's totally dead. He's just standing there. Just because I was supposed to move him. I really messed up, didn't I? I made bad choices. Coming! What if you just like collected a bunch of farts? Are you pooping? Bees! Go, bees! I want to die right now. I'm gonna go drown. Yeah!
Solid.
Nobody's looking at my pee-pee. So cute. Perceive my booty, arg. I'm a big girl. I do Mordors. Maybe let's not say those things on my stream. I shoot them my gun. Antidepressant. Is it working?
I want to be haunted by Marcia. Oh.
I'm trying to make the poop.
All right, where's Davy Jones?
Oh my gosh, my monitor.
What
Nate,
I had said.
Why are you like this? I couldn't make this up if I tried. That won't and can't go wrong. You can go anywhere on Twitch, and this is what you choose to do with your time.
Here's another thing.
Bye. April, thank you so much for the raid. Yes, that is the newish one. I have had it for a couple months. I will be updating it. Some things have changed in my personal life, so I will be updating it. But yeah, that's the new one. But thank you so much for the raid. How was your stream? How was it? How's things? Good to see you back. You took a little bit of a break, didn't you? I'm back. Welcome back. Tinks, are we ready to continue?
Doc, are you there?
Hey, do you have it?
Yeah.
did that.
And I managed to not
We
die
did that.
getting it.
Well, obviously,
did that.
I need
that.
you and that tag
Did that.
back here
Did that.
ASAP.
We did that.
All right. Jeez.
Before he, I see. I see. Well, that was a absolutely
Like,
well-deserved break.
I was like, well, obviously.
Well, obviously. I'm stuck. I'm stuck on nothing.
Alright, we gotta go back to the hotel. Is there a way to fast travel without a map? No, we gotta
No,
find a map,
we
right?
have to find the map.
Okay.
How do we get out of here then?
Same way we got in.
Oh,
No, through here. The door opened.
how do you see that? Holy crap. Yes, Wolfie, I
Nice,
ate dinner.
Alexa.
It's actually right next to me. I ate it on stream because I'm a disgusting person.
Oh, there's the map. Amazing.
Somehow,
And I have my water right here.
everything's falling into place.
Love it. Take us to the hotel.
Hotel smells morning.
Whoops. My bad.
Oh, no.
I couldn't.
Oh, no.
Really?
Oh,
I
no.
couldn't use the
Oh,
map.
no. Oh, no. I broke it.
Remember this ride.
Yeah, I broke it too.
Oh, no, I broke it.
Time to go.
Oh, no, I broke it.
Time yet.
Kind of fun. Whoa. Whoa, fuck.
There's no way. There's no way.
Nearly there.
Oh, we stretch. Go, Bruno.
There's no way.
Oh. Damn it.
And then we
Alright,
drowned.
Where do we ride?
And that's the end of the game.
No. We rise on the beach.
Good laptop.
Oh my
You stay
god,
with
what a
me.
line, Bruno. What's yours gonna say? Let me see. Good laptop.
Good laptop,
stay
you
with
stay with me.
me. Mine said Lady Luck. I think Mother Nature is the jealous type.
Lol.
Yes, Bruno.
Oh, what's this?
Oh, we're right next to. We're right next to. the
Side
beach.
quest.
So someone's stuck. Maybe they're still in the restaurant.
Okay. Let's go.
You're
Yeah.
the sovereign.
Oh, it's the screaming one.
Please be there.
Oh, the electric. Oh, is she like the lifeguard or something?
Reach a certain
I'll
badass.
take screamer
You know who you are.
I see where this is going.
Bobcat.
You lost
dead.
another one, didn't you?
It's you. Thank fuck.
She dead.
And, yeah.
You can die too, please. Thank
And I'm
you.
starting to get super worried.
No.
You,
Ew,
up
he
for
spit that to
rescuing
me.
another damsel in distress?
Oh yeah, you know me. So where's this Des at?
The Reverend Dr. Ms. Desiree.
Who's talking
likes
to me?
play with volatile
Like, I know it's
chemicals
Hana, but
and
like,
went to raid
why?
the CDC's stash on the beach. So I guess
Is
I'd
this a
start
side
there.
quest or is this somebody
Gotcha.
else?
I'll check it out.
I think it's.
Des and the
Des
Mother
and
of
the Mother.
Satan. Oh, so it's a
Oh my
side
God.
quest. It's a side quest, I guess. Who knew drowning was the end? Weird, right? All that being you know, immune to the zombie virus and then just drowning like some chump. Could you imagine? Couldn't be me.
Some
Glug
chum.
glug glug.
What do you mean? We're not
Glug
some
glug
chum.
glug. We drowned.
We're the best.
We drowned and died. This is after the game. This is post game.
This is
This is the DLC.
the game. This is the thing that should have been out. That isn't out yet.
This is us in the afterlife. We're not alive anymore. This is hell.
Oh, I found Dante.
Dante.
Yep.
Okay. I'm trying to run. Where the fuck is Dante? I'm running past all this
I'm
loot.
killing him. I'm like absurdly killing him. Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
Dead. He
Nice.
didn't even get to.
Fool's gold.
Lots of
Okay.
A
Let's
locker
go.
key. Okay,
Alright,
I'm
read the back.
curious.
Okay. So there's a bunch of lockers in here. A pharaoh seed and Hiat, if that's something that you're into. Or even
Yeah,
if
they
it's
make
something
the
you're not
zombies
into,
have
you should
straight up
still
zombies, though.
try to fill your Pokédex. Guys, don't be greedy. No problem, April. I very much appreciate you. I appreciate the raid. Very good to see you. Very happy to see you back. Glad you enjoyed your time with the BF. And I will see you later. Okay. 411. 400. Okay. That shall do for now, I suppose. Can I get that? No. Cool. Correct. Get launched. Ooh, no. Not you. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Can I pick this up? I can't pick this up. I can't pick. Oh, there it is. Alright, where did Dash go? Oh, he's where we're supposed to be, of course.
Alright, this guy's talking about Dante, but we already killed Dante.
You won't believe this, but I swear I just saw some girl pulling a U and booking it to the pier. She hasn't come back out.
Duante. Alright, hold on. Let's look at these perk cards. See, this is very
A little heavy, so
this is very Back for Blood with these perk cards like this.
Juggernaut.
Mm. I kind of, it is hell. It is, isn't that crazy? What's for Din Din? Well, I had a quesadilla, and now these
Oh, I
are
got disconnected again.
very delicious and very messy churros. I would very much like to share. Well, you can come over and get some, and I will share.
Lucky for you, I know where to find the best supplies
Okay.
on the beach. No telling where though. Trade secret.
Sonic is doing quesadillas and churros now. I didn't get Sonic just the once. Just the one time. Just the once. Listen, there was a line and I was, you know, I had places to be. Every day during happy hour, mango lemonade, $2. Yeah, there's Sonic's so close to me in either direction. It's kind of ridiculous, actually. Right. Okay, let's go sell some of this stuff.
Got plenty in stock to get rid of. Happy to take things off you too. So, where'd you come from? You're way too late.
Where did
to
you
be
come
here
from?
for the
Where did
game.
you go? Where did you
Came
come
out here
from,
from
Cotton
the
Eye
Sterling
Joe?
That overpriced joint on Ocean Ave?
I'm from Mary, long time girl.
You look. Now, I know this might sound nuts,
Okay.
but are you the
Sell
same
these,
person
and then
I
we're good
saw
to go. Are
charging
you good,
off someone's
Aster? Are you good?
pier
You're just
right
waiting for me?
before it collapsed?
Yeah, that was me. I killed a freaky murder clown over there.
Damn. You really are
Aster?
one crazy fucker.
What?
I asked if you were good and if you were just waiting for me.
Yeah, I'm just here at the map.
Okay.
Here by the map.
Well, because I thought you got disconnected for a second.
I did.
Okay.
I came back.
Hey, Ocean Ave, let's go. Yeah, it might do that. Because my internet's been funky the past couple days. I don't know why. I don't know how to fix it. It's just being annoying. Alright, deliver the blood drive to Dr. Reed.
Rough night.
Ooh, there's a lesson.
Right, Davis. Your mama's worried sick. I'll come and get you myself.
Alright, Davis.
Be reasonable.
Hey, Doc, I got it.
Hey.
Weird lady.
Oh,
Hey, let me see.
weird lady.
You last.
Don't be rude, Reuben.
Hey, you should.
Why doesn't she have
No, I
shoes
want to
on?
talk to your friend.
Sit down. Reuben and I were just reminiscing.
Oh, yeah?
Hi, Mark. Welcome in, my friend.
Research together.
Reuben, it was a little more than that.
They got it on.
I
Jack,
was
stop.
his oracle, his Pythia.
She's so weird.
How have you been? You look different.
You tried to kill me.
Is that what I did?
Yeah, yeah.
Or did I do something else?
Lola, you promised you wouldn't interfere.
No, Reuben, we promised
Jack, buddy.
that we wouldn't interfere. You've already galloped across that Rubicon.
There is too much at stake.
Doc, where the fuck?
Oh.
Jack!
Wait, who the fuck?
Hey, not now, Jimmy.
No, we fucking agreed. The whole group gets to say on newcomers.
Don't worry, Mr.
Montana.
Oh, look at her little
Jimmy
tattoo.
Montana. Yeah, you
Jimmy
probably seen me
Montana.
on TV.
Fabulous.
Hi, bro,
Mr.
Save.
Montana.
How's your day?
I
My
was
day was
just
okay.
about to
How was
leave anyway.
yours?
But I must just drop in on Tisha before I go.
You can't see her.
Oh, Reuben.
Yeah, well, no one gets to see her.
What?
She ain't here.
What do you
Jack,
Well,
buddy.
she went out looking for food with a little gang of hers. They're
You had an
overdue.
okay day?
I
Yeah, it
always
was
told you,
okay.
Reuben,
Honestly,
the tighter
like...
the leash, the harder they
Hold on, let's wait for
pull.
this cutscene to be over.
Get out!
I'll see you down the line. Later, Jimmy.
Why won't she wear shoes, though?
Why'd you let her go?
I know.
Hey, she ain't my kid.
Oh,
If I was in
Jimmy,
charge...
Listen. you
Yeah,
have
fucking
to find
whatever.
Tisha, all right?
Things were getting freaky with me.
Oh, please. We need.
Oh, we're gonna get our
to
new... I
find
bet we're gonna get our Newman
safe,
soon, because she's,
all
like,
right?
losing her shit.
Look, it's gonna take time to analyze your blood to get answers, all right? Now, Tisha doesn't have time, all right?
Hey, it's okay.
Okay,
I'll find her.
thanks.
Okay. So,
Hey.
my day was okay. I...
Bored Walking Dead. Okay.
Honestly, as
Send you off to find Tisha.
as childish or immature or whatever it sounds, whatever. I really like just was like, I was just in a bad mood from last night's absolutely terrible Sea of Thieves session. And not only like was it just in a bad mood because like it was just shit and the game, like it was just shit. It was a shitty night. The game was shitty. People were shitty. Like it was just shitty and it just put me in a bad mood. But then like people were like really
Wait,
not
some of
nice
these are worth
on like social media today, and I was like, I'm not even like complaining. Like I'm literally
get, like,
not
stuff
even
for stuff?
complaining about stuff. I just
I can't hear you. If you can hear me, I can't.
no, I know I can hear you. Yeah, why Abuela's Ashes? One hit wonder?
Yeah, all that is.
Eye opener?
Eye opener.
Home wrecker?
I'm gonna
Why?
Trade.
But yeah, but then like people were just like mean on social media and they're like, it's a pirate game, get good. And I'm like, but that's literally not even what I'm talking about. That's literally what I'm not even what I'm talking about. That's not even what I'm complaining about. That's not even the point of the words that I'm saying. And people are like, well, you gotta get good. It's a pirate game. And I'm like, I understand. I understand all of those things. I literally understand. I just don't feel like I should have to be forced into those types of situations. And I don't feel like there's anything wrong with also not feeling like I want to be forced into those situations.
If we're trapped here, might as well enjoy ourselves a little, right?
A day or two as well. Yeah, see, Envoy, you get it. Did you get the bait bomb?
Bait bomb? I think I did.
Yeah. It was not free. You had to pay for it, but it's a curveball that he sells.
This guy?
Yeah, this guy.
Oh, I didn't.
I hate when you can't. Exactly. And then people are like, well, don't play the game anymore if you hate it so much. I'm like, I don't hate it. I just hate shitty nights. And I had a shitty night. And then I'm just in a shitty mood because I had a shitty night.
Oh,
like, it's the same thing if, like, you have a bad night in Overwatch or you have a bad night in any game. Like, you know, or, like, you know, for the Soulsborne people that are here, like, it's kind of the same thing if, like, a boss kicks your ass for a couple hours and you're just like, you're just in a funk and you're just in a mood and you're like, oh, I hate this game. But you don't really hate the game, you're just frustrated. Which is exactly what it was. And like, and so like, and I wasn't even talking about like, oh, I hate the game. It was just like, dude, like the toxicity sometimes is exhausting. And they'd be like, well, you have to fight back. And I'm like, that's not even what I'm talking about. But there's a side quest here, Luther. Arhan, hello.
Too late.
I feel that way whenever I don't make any progress in a challenge run. Yeah, sometimes you're just frustrated. And it doesn't mean you have to get good or you have to quit the game or any of those things. Like, if you're just frustrated. Frustrated.
Blah, 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 blah.
Frustrated. You have a self-serving question. Go for it. I will try my best to help. They're hearing a completely different thing and they're... Exactly! They can't fucking read. Exactly. Did you see my fit? Your vampire fit? I did see it. Did I not? I thought I liked your tweets. Didn't I like your tweets? Do I need to compliment you when I see things? Is that what I need to do? Do you want to get it? Yeah.
I'm getting it.
No, but now you do? Okay. It looked excellent. I thought it looked really good. Your teeth actually looked really good. Like, some people don't do the vampire teeth really well, and some people look stupid when they have them in because they're just like, ooh, I look stupid. But yours actually looked really good. Your vampire teeth looked very good.
You're here to steal just like her.
110% on your side. Thanks, Mog. And I agree, Broseph. Like, there should be an option, and especially like those people last night who were like, emissary means PvP, and it's like, no. PvP means PvP. Like, you're just attacking us to steal our shit. Like, you're not PvPing us, you know? It's not PvP when it's not mutual.
I can be persuasive, Luther.
Then it's just P. Then you're just peeing on people.
Yeah, they should. Well, I don't know how it would work on CP,
I lost.
But GTA...
Yeah.
GTA has this thing where you can turn off PvP, but like they will restrict you. They're like, oh well, if you're turning off PvP, you can't do certain things.
Yeah.
But you can
every other MMO I play has some sort of opt-in, whether it's so like New World and like ESO, like you have to be flagged for PvP. Like you have to turn PvP on, and like other people have to have it on for you to engage. And then you have games like Fallout 76 where it's like there are specific areas that are PvP, and it will tell you, something will come up on the screen, and it will say like, you are entering a PvP area, you can be attacked, you know, like whatever. So like, this is the only game that I've played that's like, you know, an MMO multiplayer kind of game like this with PvP, with an optional PvP. You know, there's like the hourglass and all that stuff, and there's PvP flags, so you can flag, you know, yeah. And they'll just come, they'll come sink two girls spawning into a server that have 0 treasure twice.
I didn't lose them. I didn't.
It's a pirate game. It's such a cop-out response trying to cover up people, and that's what I'm saying. Like, you can play the game the way it's meant to be played, you know, PvPing and stealing loot. Like, you can do the pirate shit without being a piece of shit. You know, like
I understand when we had the Reaper's flag, because that is essentially, you know, it's
right.
It is a beacon to hit
right.
us.
Right.
But when we had our little emissary, we were just starting. We didn't, like you said, we didn't even have like 10k worth of loot, probably. We didn't even. No. No. And our emissary was worth nothing because we had not sold a single thing that night. So they were like, oh, well, we want your emissary and your loot. And I'm like, well, our emissary is worth nothing, so go ahead, I guess.
Right, like, we didn't, like, the amount of supplies that they had to use to attack us probably cost more than what they made off of us, if that makes sense. Like, when I say, like, we had just loaded in, we had, we had nothing. Like, we had nothing. Like, they were literally bullying just to do it. Peas v these peas. Peas vs these peas. So many peas.
Yeah, we had.
Tell
what,
my
like,
friends they
2 or
PvP for
3 of
everything in
those?
CVC. I just don't understand. Like, and I'm not, like, let me clarify, because people seem to think that I'm, like, anti-PvP in this fucking pirate game, which is, like, not the case. But I'm not going to actively go out and hunt people down. I will defend what I have, but I'm not going out and, like, being like, here, looking through my spyglass, and I see a boat on the other side of the map. Let me go get them. I'm not doing that. Other people are doing that. I'm not doing that. But I will defend what I have, and I will fight for what I have. But I am not going to fight for nothing. Like, if I don't have anything on me, fucking sink my boat, and I'll start off someplace not by you, asshole. You know? I love everything else that Sea of Thieves has to offer. Which sucks because, like, the game itself is so fun and it's so beautiful. And, like, the, you know, like, the underwater shrines are so cool.
Yeah.
The treasure hunts, the treasure vaults, you know, the riddles where you have to solve the riddles. Like, I love everything else that Sea of Thieves has to offer, except for the fact that I am forced into PvP against my will. Speaking of Sea of Thieves, Obi, hello. I keep asking when we're gonna sail, but she never answers. Daisy has official and community servers. Thank God for modded community PvE, where if you strike another player, you're the one who loses health. On console, you have to trust other people aren't going to send you back to spawn. And that's why, like, we, as the pink community here, we have 3 dedicated servers. We have a dedicated Valheim server, we have a dedicated Minecraft server, and we have a dedicated 7 Days to Die server. Not a single soul other than myself has even, like, logged in or even requested the info for the 7 Days to Die server. I was thinking it could be fun to do, like, like a PvP server on the 7 Days to Die. But I'll probably end up just getting rid of it because nobody wants it. And you have a dedicated never invite Arhanka to anything server. Listen, Arhan, my friend, I know that you have Discords muted because obviously I have Discords muted too. But, like, I can't be, like, reaching out to every person individually. Like, did you see the tag? But I'll start DMing you personally for literally every time I at everybody in Discord, I'm gonna send it to you. You wait. You think I'm joking? You think I'm joking? Every at everybody in Discord is an individual DM to you. No, it's too late. Look what you have wrought. Look what you have wrought upon yourself. I think I have every single Discord I'm in muted. I think I have like 2 that are not muted. It used to be a couple more, but I've left some servers recently. But yeah, so it's like, so mine is unmuted. And even mine sometimes, I'm like, damn, I should really mute some of these channels. But I need to be able to monitor the Discord, so I need to, like, have everything unmuted so I can monitor it. Bro, I muted my own server. Don't do this to me. You asked for it. You said I didn't invite you to the server that I've pinged at least a dozen times in my Discord. So this is what you asked for, Arhan. This is what you asked for. This is what you asked for. I just want some invites to some games. Well, seriously, like, do you play 7 Days to Die? Wait, do you, like, legitimately, do you play 7 Days to Die? I regret my life decision. No, I'm not going to. I'm being a smartass. If you play 7 Days, like, 100% I'm down. I play good games. Oh, I see. So Redfall, then?
We're supposed to be looking for here. I'm assuming
I know,
way
it's
into
on the other
this
side
stuff.
of this building. I'm just trying to see. Excuse me. That's why I play Redfall, because I wasn't sponsored to say that at all, or I will play. Oh, I'm not sponsored by... I'm sponsored by Deep Silver this game, and I actually genuinely enjoy this game. I like Redfall. I don't hate Redfall. It's by no means is it, like, anything spectacular. I would even calling it good is a stretch, but it's not the worst fucking game I've ever played, ever. You and Bella playing it? Let me finish my playthrough first, only because, like, we're halfway through it, and then, like, for sure. We play on Wednesdays and Fridays, so we probably will finish it relatively soon. Saturdays to Sundays, you know, my on days. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, like, we play on Wednesdays and Fridays, our little crew, so we probably will be finishing it soon. Oh, hello. Honestly, like, I'm still shocked that the Deep Silver sponsored me and gave me a key to this game, because, like, I've applied to probably a dozen keys since getting this key, and I've gotten denied for every single one. I was like, oh, okay, sure, indie game that no one's ever heard of. Playing Forspoken on Saturdays and God of War on Sundays was a mistake. After God of War, yeah, no, that's that actually works out perfect, Akron. That works perfect, actually. You finish God of War or Forspoken, whatever one, and then I'll finish Redfall, and then that way I won't, like, be doing, like, 2 playthroughs simultaneously of the same game. Alright, so we have to go to the other side of here. Oh, under? Good call. Can we go under?
Oh, maybe. No, it's not. No, this is like a little secret thing.
Okay.
But no, we can't.
So we have to get on the other side of this building here. Let me look at the map.
On the other side.
Wait, this is a whole search area. Wait, this is a whole search area.
Oh, no, we're out of it right now.
I know, but, like, this building is a whole search area, so I think we just have to get inside the building. But I don't know how. Forspoken, fast-paced parkour, jump, boom, joy, blow up, anime, everything's out. God of War, clunky movement, blocking, heavy, slow. My brain fries. Yeah. Yeah. The life of a variety streamer, where you can't remember the controls to every game. Like, literally one day at a time.
This is the one we have to
get. Okay, I'm still... There's anything over here? No, nothing over here. Okay. Especially... Oh my god, especially because I play so many survival craft games. And, like, they're all different. Like, all the controls are different. So I'll be like, oh, press this button to get my pickaxe, and it's like, nope,
I'm dead.
Not. Oh, you're literally here.
Hey, I could use a hand here.
Enough slacking.
Enough slacking. No, I was moving. Oh, see, look, he's got choppy hands. Yep. Wait, what are they called? What are they called in game? Butchers? Yeah, so it's the same. It's the same. Can we go in here? Yeah. Oops. The fuck? Oh my god, am I getting shot at? An arrow? What is this arrow? Where'd this arrow come from?
Beats me.
There's arrows!
Yeah? See anybody?
Oh, where are arrows coming from?
Maybe it
and
was
how
just
come
there.
I can't get a bow? No, I got, like, hurt. Holy shit.
Look, see, there's more arrows here. Yeah, they were just there.
No, I know. The one that was, like, in the...
Okay. Okay, what the hell?
No, that's not it. That's what to say. Okay. Come get this treasure. Brass knuckles. Alright, so we can go to this. Or we can't go to this? No, I want to get rid of this. Okay, that's weird. How come I can't scrap this?
Get a bow now.
Oh, because it's named.
Yeah, some things you cannot be scrapped. I just put them in
because it's named. I forgot.
You know.
Okay.
Go Reg.
Alright, does this mean we're gonna get a bow?
I don't know.
I hope this means we're gonna get a bow. You close the door on me!
Did I? Did I?
Did you? Did you? Did you?
Nice secret vantage point you got here. Can see
Where'd you
why
get the
it's
nail
not on
bomb?
the market.
What?
The nail bomb? Here. Table.
Don't eat all the snacks.
I must have because I don't have it. I don't see it.
Okay, well. Electrician's
A
toolbox.
nail bomb?
But this is a nice little
Oh
apartment.
yeah, look at that, the nail bomb. Didn't even notice.
Danny.
There's our workbench here.
Ava. John. Who names their kid John? Bench. Workbench, workbench. Can't wait to not be able to do anything with any of my weapons.
Yep, because they're stupid expensive.
Expensive. I know. What are you watching?
Nothing.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like nothing.
Nothing.
Sure. Wait, are any of these guys a vendor?
I don't know.
No. No, none of them are vendors. Okay, let's go down. Talk to Tisha.
Why?
Tisha!
It's the runaway.
Tisha!
Your dad's freaking the fuck out.
Must be to send his VIP.
Why
That's what I am, huh? Look, Tisha, your dad, is he legit?
Why'd you say that?
Because it feels like there's stuff he's not telling me.
Probably.
Yeah, join the club.
There's this insane lady. She basically tried to kill me.
Sharpedo.
Ever since then, I've been feeling...
This is why Pink dumped you last time. Oh my god, Franklin.
The crazy
Never
thing
telling
is,
you a story
your dad
ever
knows this
again.
woman, and she was just there in his office. Name's...
Franklin, I
Conrad?
want to get back into
Auntie
7 Days to
Lola.
Die so you can spawn more
Why would
bears
she
on
be
me.
here?
She's just wandering around this nightmare like it's nothing.
That's pretty
Goodbye,
crazy.
sleep.
even for
Goodbye.
her.
Have good sleep.
I need to ask her some serious questions.
Wait,
But first,
that's
we gotta get you back.
Sombra?
Not happening.
Chica, don't make me drag you.
Okay.
Yeah, it is.
God, hold up. Look, we both want
It
to
is,
know
yeah.
what's going on with Dad,
Let's see.
right?
Let's see.
If I give you a direct line to Lola, can you give me more time to investigate?
I'm listening.
Look, there's a data blackout, right? No internet, no nothing. But our resident hacker, Ava, has found data packets routing between the Serling...
Carolina
CDC HQ and the
Oravasa is
landscape
her name,
building.
is Sombra's name.
It might
So then,
clue
what's
us
her
up on
name?
what Dad's mixed up
Carl.
on.
Maybe. But what's this
Carla?
hotline to Conrad?
I got a code phrase. Look, you go to an
Carolina
OSK store,
Oravasa,
you
yes.
say 12 something.
Yeah, she's in my
karaoke
DMs.
queens. OS.
Oh, really?
OSK
Tell her that I main Sombra and I happened to also
Yeah, and
pick
if she's
Carla
involved,
just
it's
because.
something wild.
Tell her.
Alright,
Tell
hold
her
on.
right now.
But we're partners, okay? Anything we find.
The funny
we
thing
share.
was, is I kept hearing
was
it
gonna
and
say
I
the
was like,
same
I
thing.
know this voice, but I just couldn't place it.
Cool.
Oh yeah?
Welcome to the Mushroom Club.
Yeah. Makes me laugh whenever like people are like, this is so and so, and I'm like, oh, voices.
Oh yeah?
Voices can be tough sometimes. I do like the guy. I can't
Oh, yeah?
remember who he. I can't remember who he is in Destiny, but the guy who voices Reaper in Overwatch is in Destiny, and he makes very, very vague Overwatch references from time to time, which make me laugh.
Oh, yeah.
Like, one time he was like, die, die. Oh, sorry, that, I don't know what came over me. Like, it's so funny.
Half the world uses her OSK tech.
Sims and Genji Summer Farah Lucio
No
following.
one does.
Really?
What the fuck does she want with me?
Arhan, you're so cool. How did I, like... How did you choose to be my friend? How did I get so lucky? Ooh. Bean cup coffee. They stopped though, them bishes. Ooh, we don't like that. We don't like bishes. Unfollowing bishes. Oh, my internet did the thing again. Hang tight. There it goes. Okay. I don't know why it's doing this. I'm sorry, Astro.
Joining. That's okay. Oh, I should have checked how many missions we had left.
Oh yeah, you should have. I'm sorry. I honestly don't know why this is doing this.
It's pretty quick to reconnect, so it's not bad. So
Because it comes right back up. That's the thing that bothers me. Is it's like, it's not even disconnecting my stream, but it's disconnecting you, which is annoying. You know, like it's making my stream lag, but it's not just like it's not like disconnecting it. Weird. You hang out with Brig every now and then? Welcome to the Mushroom Club. The guy in the bathroom kept saying, really? Oh, really? That's pretty cool. That's actually really cool. You have some crazy connections. That's dope, though. That's actually really dope. Am I gonna use brass knuckles, though? Shit, I'm being smacked.
I'm looking for the store, the OSK store.
Smack him in the booty. Smack him in the booty. No, don't hit me. I don't have any health packs? There's no way.
Oh, this is, oh, well, I'll wait till I get here, but now I know what we're doing here.
I'm just lucky. Well, you do deserve it, honestly. I don't want it to go to your head, but like, you are kind of a cool dude. Come on, don't slam. Just die. You have all my weapons inside of you. I can't keep throwing my weapons. Ah! Fuck. This is so annoying. I'm trying to give him a BBL and a Brazilian. There we go. Oh my god. Give me all my weapons back. You son of a gun.
Eat him.
You son of a... Give me my weapons. Give me all my weapons! Okay. I sent everyone for this newsletter, so he'll be contacting you soon. I have no health packs left. I'm getting too cocky. Wait, don't I get health back from maiming? Put your legs off. Put your arms off.
Maybe. I don't know. I wouldn't. Wait.
Why are there so many crushers here? I'm just trying to pass through.
Just run away.
Astro, help!
Just run away. You're running away.
Oh, he did run. My health is slowly going up. I don't think I really want a mushroom club clothes. Ooh, you probably should have said that before we signed you up. Finishing this game tonight? Amazing. We're trying to. I don't know if we will, but we are trying to. Okay. Oh, you have right there. Oh, it's gonna turn the Alexas on now.
Yep, that's
Servers
what I
are
was
down.
looking at.
Well, if I can find them.
To
Oh
Jimbro
my God.
Central. Locate and reboot the server.
I'll do that.
Server room.
Servers.
Needs the key card. Okay, of course. Why wouldn't it need the key card?
They're gonna be on some. Oh, here it is. Oh, it's inside because the thing is here. Oh, here it is.
Henry was
Oh,
the
nice.
unlucky one.
Henry, we gotta find Henry.
But if the others ran, maybe he's
Hunt
still
down
out there.
Henry and his server room. And Laurie! And Laurie! Alright, he's gonna be here. Are you Henry? No, you're a spiky walker? Oh, it hurts my tootsies to kick you.
Bro, Henry's gonna be probably one of them. One of
Hey,
the
Henry.
butchers.
There you are.
Oh, he's not. He's a walker.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that was easy. Okay.
The pass.
Unlock the server
time.
room. Go. Let's go.
All right.
Oh, wait.
What have I
It's
got
two.
to work with?
New card.
It is I, Henry. It is I, Henry. James Snipes. I actually am really liking it. I think it's a lot of fun, honestly.
There we go.
I find it better functioning than the first two. I'm really enjoying it. Welcome in. Chaos, welcome in. How are you?
Hey, y'all.
All right. This
Chaos.
passphrase better not be a prank. Or Tisha's gonna meet seriously pissed Carla.
Into the scoop. Alright, over here.
There we go.
Ugh.
Oh my
Let's
word.
give
Hello.
fanboys. Shut up about
Don't you do it. Don't you
Easter
do it.
activity.
No, don't you do it. Don't do it. Don't scream. Don't scream, don't scream, don't scream, don't scream, don't scream. Okay. It's actually James Nip S.
Oh, the alarm, Gotta get the alarm.
Where is it?
Oh, they're gonna keep coming. Okay.
There it is.
Gotta get.
I see.
Everything's online.
I hope you know them.
Here goes nothing.
Speak the code into the scope. Pinecone? Mock, we'll do the pinecone when I have a moment. A pinecone mint. Wait till you see the game, see what weapons you can get. Ooh. Post-game
12 Sambuca karaoke.
secrets.
Eschaton. Noun. Theological. The end of the world. The end times. The final event in the divine plan. From the Greek root, meaning last.
Oh God. 12 Sambuca karaoke Queens.
After that pun, only times 6.
Hey, I'm Dr. Reed, but you can call me Ruben.
Rude.
Noah, they told me there's something in my blood that... Yeah, shh. Let's keep your specialness just between us for now, okay? Okay, sure. But it's about a cure? If our
Constantine?
preliminary results are right, then you have a miracle in your blood.
Constantine?
Now that we've found you, humanity stands a chance. Cool.
So all of these
So,
scopes are
what
going to be
happens to me?
on now, like in the rest of the
Blood, or we need
world.
to get you to our lab on Ocean Avenue. We have the equipment there.
There's a place
and
off
answers to
Ocean
all your questions,
Avenue
I
where
promise.
I used to sit
Okay,
and
you're the
talk
doctor.
with you. We were both 16, it felt so right.
Fine, I'm listening.
Sleeping all day,
What else
staying
you got
up
on
all night.
Zephron, it didn't work. The levels spiked again. Fried the whole rig.
Not ideal. And our friend Noah?
We need a new candidate.
We haven't found anyone else.
There has to be someone. You know what's at stake. Keep looking.
Oh, I'll keep looking. Doc.
Interesting. Staying up all night.
Huh? Did I just get a text? How?
Those your favorite tunes? That's actually pretty dope, Mark. Use the image file you were sent to track down Dr. Reed's lab.
How use image file?
Use the image file you were sent to track down.
Tisha.
Get that with my
no
away
sign of
glass.
Conrad, but I got a lead on a lab your dad was using. I'll keep you updated.
Got it. Me and Ava are in the Rangate Security Center. There's
Hello.
definitely data moving in and out. Go Team Mushroom.
Ooh, let's go get this,
Yeah. Our answer's gotta be in that lab.
fuse.
I'll call you.
It's fused dar. Where did it go? Oh, there it is.
Is it up top? Might be up top.
Ooh.
It's not up top?
It's under. It's in.
Oh, where?
Oh, no, it's not. It's not. It's a little bam spoozle here. Wait, can I break these? Oh, I can break these. Aha, it is in here. Ooh, I hit the wrong button. Like a dweeb. Alright, let's go. Let's go. Hello, sir. Ma'am, sir. Oh my god, now yellow card is stuck in my head. Pitchfork. This one. I can't. It's got a name. Okay, cool. Alright, how are we?
How are we supposed to use the image file?
Do we like go in our inventory? Search for the truth. No. View quests. Expand objectives. Track down Tisha, which we did. Why isn't it checked off? Okay. Use the image file you were sent to track. Okay, linked journal. Image file. Oh, okay. It's a bay door with an attention, do not, I'm assuming, enter, and a white van outside. Okay. Randgate Building, Service Entry 7.
Wait, wasn't that... Oh, no, that's not here. No. Alright, what is... Oh, it's the... Is there like
so
a
it's Service Entry 7. Let's see.
How'd you get up there?
Is that what the scene kids are calling it these days? Service Entry 7? Alright, okay, so private parking. My nose is itchy so bad right now. Alright, parking entry. Oh, is it here? Is it here? Here's the van. It's...
We're in the LA 24 news offices. We survived the outbreak but need urgent assistance. Like, right now. If you're
Where?
still alive, for God's sake, come and help us.
Scooped. Alright, hold on. Let me see if I can figure out where this building is.
Alright, let's see.
Well, here's the news building here. No signal, please reboot. Okay. Blue zone. Can we go in here? Or are we supposed to go? Travel to Venice Beach. No. Okay. So, here's the news building. Sterling Hotel. I feel like we were closer on the other side, honestly. I heard the little pizzies and I didn't think, I thought it was Astro. I didn't think it was a zombie right after. Alright. White van. No, this isn't it. See, now we're not in the search. Okay, now I'm back in the search area. Okay. That coffee looks really good. Make it in there. This is not the search area. What's this? Okay.
Well, you know what? I bet it's where that Crusher hotspot is.
Could be. Alright, is this Ocean Ave? Yeah, no, don't scream. Alright, so that's a white van, but that's not the one.
Yeah, that's not the spot.
Alright, so it's a white bay door, or like a gray sliding bay door. And then there's a white van with like a satellite dish outside. So that's, I thought it would be by the news place, but I didn't see it over there. Microphone! Thank you for the raid! How was it Warhammer? I was right. How was Warhammer? I'm sorry I missed your stream. I was at work, and then I came home and started streaming myself. How was your stream, my friend? Great, lots of carnage. We love to hear that. Ooh, I just picked up a key. I can't see what it was, but I just picked up a key. How was your day? How was your stream? How was everything?
Oh, wait. I recognize this building. It might be close to this one because
okay, hold on. Where are you? Okay, hold on. Where are you? Where are you? Okay, over here. Okay. I'm coming. My stream is going well. We are trying. Probably won't happen. But we are trying to get as much progress as we can. And get as close to the end as possible. Because Tears of the Kingdom comes out. This weekend, so... Oh, here we go. Satellite dish? Yeah. So... Wait, how come this doesn't match? Like, unless this is moved... I recognize the little spikes on the right side of the building. Right? Do you? Unless there's another building. My day was okay. My day was okay. Honestly, I'm tired. I'm very tired.
Oh yeah, this other building has them.
But we're trying.
This other building has them.
Alright, I'm coming.
Those spikes.
But welcome in, Raiders. Thank you so much for joining us. If you do not know who I am, hello, hi, welcome in. My name is Krista, or Pinxel. Most people just call me Pink. I am a variety streamer, and I am quite literally the definition of variety. I play things like Nintendo games, Lego games, simulators, shooters, survival games, and pretty much everything in between. I do have a very quick video that I like to show when we get a raid to see if this is someplace that maybe you want to hang out, get to know us, spend some time, see what we're about, what to expect. The vibe. I just have the hiccups now. The vibe. I hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see you in just a moment. Hi there, friends. Are you a human being with disgusting bodily functions?
We were like 2 seconds away from the bike song.
I wanna ride my bike!
Hey, look, Nate. It's Uranus. I am Cat. I can help you. Look at that donk. I'm sorry that you didn't get to experience the butts. And then they show up and we talk about booty.
I wanna be forever.
Oh! How are her boobs not falling out?
First you're like, yeah, then you're like, yeah.
You can't do anything with human meat, which is kind of boring. He's totally dead. He's just standing there. Just because I was supposed to move him. I really messed up, didn't I? I made bad choices. What if you just like collected a bunch of farts? Are you pooping? Bees! Go, bees! Yes. I want to die right now. I'm gonna go drown. Yeah! Solid. Nobody's looking at my pee-pee. So cute. Perceive my booty, arg. I'm a big girl. I do Mordors. Maybe let's not say those things on my stream. I shoot them my gun. Antidepressant. Is it working?
I want to be haunted by Marcia. Oh.
I'm trying to make the poop.
All right, where's Davy Jones?
Oh my gosh, my monitor.
What
Nate,
I had said.
Why are you like this? I couldn't make this up if I tried. That won't and can't go wrong. You can go anywhere on Twitch, and this is what you choose to do with your time.
Here's another thing.
Bye. Thank you for the raid. I appreciate it, McAwful. I hope that you had a good day. All right. Okay, so I'm looking at it again.
I have made a mistake. I'm inside a building. It's not the right one.
Okay.
I'm inside the news building. I'm sorry.
Rand Gate, building, service entry 7.
I cannot get out that.
I can't hear you. Wait, there's a channel point redeem. I can't hear you. Alright, so there's like a gate. Like a corner. Okay. Alright, so it's got a ramp above. It's like the corner. It's a roll-up door, a gate, and a white van. Okay.
I literally cannot get out. I'm in the news building.
Alright, I'm coming.
It's on like on lockdown.
Okay.
I need lockdown back.
Okay.
It wasn't that hard to get in. Just through there. That scaffold. The scaffolding. You just go up. I broke a window.
Scaffolding.
Oh, behind you. There was boxes behind you.
Right here.
Let me see.
Yeah,
more.
here.
Though.
I'm on it.
The other ones.
I'm on them. I'm in a building already.
Your stream is a little bit.
Yeah, delayed.
I mean, I am delayed on your stream.
That's what I'm saying. I know, delay. I'm here though.
Looks like they kept themselves busy.
You're missing loot.
I probably missed like a card or something to turn off the thing.
No, I don't see it yet. What is it?
LA 24 News Security Pass.
Okay. Did we look in here?
Here it is. Security Pass.
Friend, but I think I need this more.
Okay. There's a card right here.
Immediately, I got that. Immediately you get here, I find it. Alright, here it is.
Okay. Lockdown in effect. Hey, Swaggy. How are ya?
We can leave if we have to.
Okay, I mean, we can just do this quest while we're already in here, I suppose. Yeah, that's a... Yeah.
Oh,
see.
Alright, found it. Is it a side quest, or is this like
yes,
part
it
of the
is
main
a
quest?
side. It is a side quest. Good. How's about you? I am okay. We had a rough night last night.
Hi to you too.
Sea of Thieves did not treat me well. Stream did not really treat me well. So we had a rough night last night. So I did not get a lot of sleep. Didn't feel my best. But we're here. We're having a good time. I want to try to finish this game before Zelda comes out.
Gave me a heart attack.
We'll see. Fingers
You got
crossed.
the message.
Lucky for you, I did.
No, yeah, it's a bummer. It's okay.
Hey, I passed through the lobby, and you know about.
I took a very small nap today.
We've been here
like a
recording
20-minute
since it all
nap.
started, telling truth to the people. At least until we realized no one was getting our broadcast. We thought we could survive long enough to get the story out. But you saw David. There's something in here with us.
Great.
Can't do that to your body. Listen.
Okay, so is it just?
I tell my body how to.
The others are busy upstairs.
I wish.
Can you get to the
I wish it
basement?
was that easy.
If you get the servers working, we've got surveillance cameras to track whatever this thing is.
Good call. Let's find out what we're up against.
I'm Esta, by the way.
I kind of want to find the thing.
And this
you know,
is
in the-
Nora.
You can call me Bruno. And
I know.
Don't worry.
I
This
know,
ain't
I know.
My first zombie rodeo.
My first zombie rodeo.
Think we can trust them?
Wow.
Oh, wait, that left, okay. Is there anything to loot?
At least they look like they can handle themselves.
It's just this, okay. Alright,
Hey,
so
I
now
heard you, Connor.
we... So now we leave?
Yeah, but let's just get out of here.
Wait, go up?
Oh, we gotta go up. Yeah, we
There's
gotta
a
go up.
door. There's a door that we could go over there, though. Wait, this doesn't open. Why is it telling me to go here? What? This door here opens. Why is OBS doing this? There we go. You better sleep at an okay time tonight. Well, I have to because I work early in the morning. My Wednesdays and Fridays are early mornings.
I'm
So,
getting out of the building.
Yeah. So I will be going to sleep pretty much right after stream. Oh, why won't you grab? There we go. Okay.
Where could that van be?
Alright, so it's like a corner, and it's got like one of these like ramps or whatever on it. And then there's a bay door. So it's none of these. Hey Trem! How are you? Happy Tudes Day. I'm stuck. I'm stuck. I'm literally stuck. I'm literally stuck. This game's great! I'm literally stuck.
You're like falling forever, yeah?
I can't move.
Maybe if I...
Like, I legitimately, like, I can't... Oh!
Gotcha.
I slid. I did the slid animation.
Good job.
Okay. Whew. I'm almost at 1,000,000 meters sailed in Sea of Thieves, and it will never get any higher than that because last night ruined it for me. Never playing Sea of Thieves again.
What do you mean?
Until the next time I play Sea of Thieves.
No.
Honestly, it was just like... I've never had a night like that in Sea of Thieves before. I've never had a night where it was just constant being shit on. Like, I've been playing Sea of Thieves for 3 years.
I think I found it.
Okay.
I found it. Oh my goodness, it was like in the
And I have never had a night like that before. I've never had a night as shitty as last night was in Sea of Thieves.
Wait till Chaos finds out that Broseph is in America.
Broseph's not in America.
Broseph is 100% in America.
Broseph is in Canada.
Which is where?
No. Broseph, that is the continent of North America, but that is not the country of America.
There is no country of America? What are you talking about?
No, the United States of America is a country. North America is a continent.
It's the United States.
Right, so... No, you're not listening to me. You're not listening to me. They're two different things. No, you're not, because you're arguing and you're wrong.
Okay.
The United States of America, the USA, is the country. The continent, which is Mexico and the USA and Canada, is the continent of North America.
Yep.
So they are not in America, but they are in the continent. No, they're not. No, they're not.
America. No, Broseph is in America.
Okay, that's different. That's different. That's entirely different.
Okay.
That's entirely different.
Yep.
Canada isn't in the USA. I know, Swaggish. I know. Astro just wants to be argumentative.
No.
But I'm sorry, but you're just wrong on this one.
Okay.
You.
Listen, you are not America. You are of America.
Triple locked. They don't want me in. It's not a trap.
Mexico is technically the United States of Mexico. I know. Silly Canadian goose. You mean North American? Exactly. They're two different things. Like, they're two different things. Like, I understand language-wise. You're like, no, it's America and everything is America. But like, they're two different they're different. They're two different entities.
Triple lock.
I did the mag lock. What the fuck? This one goes here.
Is there another one?
Yes, there's 3. Alright, so there's that one. Is it open yet? What the hell?
No, there's this one. There we go. Now we got it.
There it is. Okay. I'm also close to 1,000,000 meters. We could do it together at the 12-hour when we visit all the islands. Ooh boo. I shall see how I feel about
Ooh, what's going on here?
What shit were they doing here?
Because right now, I am bitter. I am bitter AF. And like, but there is part of me that's like, no, like I don't want them to yuck my yum. Like I want to play because I want to play, but I'm like I don't want to have to be looking over my shoulder every single time I play for the rest of forever. You know, like I just don't want that anxiety for the rest of forever every time I play the game, which is just what I feel like right now. This is Skater Boy. Pink said, "See you later, boy." I love that song. She's in a better place. Stream into cyberspace. About to change her name to Calypso. Oh, you ruined the song. What is this? Some of us only speak freedom units.
Okay.
Oh.
Well, this is going nowhere fast. The only person who can give me answers is the doc, whether he... Whoa.
I am not a fan
You're looking
of
for
any
a
of that's going on.
dead guy. Well, okay, not good. Anyway,
I'm not a fan of this. I'm not a fan of this. I'm...
Dude, no! You look insane!
Oh, that is disgusting. Look at him.
I am not a fan of this!
Specimen Noah. Specimen Noah is disgusting.
Oh, fair.
Oh my god.
I only count in bald eagles. How many bald eagles is that?
Vomited shit up on him.
I will read my American chat in a moment. Right. Well, shit. But they've been to you. Someone's been watching Carnival Row. Be nice to them. They have no heart. Savage. Lol. He's icky. Oh no.
Oh yeah.
Oh no.
I have no thingies left on
Oh
my deck.
no. Oh, he's got a boner hand. Why am I even Fury? I didn't press Fury. It like auto-furied me.
You got it?
It like auto-furied me.
Nice. Good job.
Oh, look at my bloody hands.
I'm in control. Come on, I'm in control.
He had the boner hand. Did you see it?
I didn't. Disgusting.
Hello? Am I gonna eat her?
She's gonna stab us?
Am I a Zambi? Is this, do we switch characters? Is this a twisty twist?
Oh, she was trying to trust us. Oh, looks like we're gonna die.
Hold on, I'm here. Check the blood drive.
Oh my god,
What the fuck?
Goodness, Tisha. All that Krav Maga paid off.
Did she break my face?
I know you're in there. Hello again.
Would you kindly? I was wearing a pink skirt and a green t-shirt. My girlfriend said I look like a strawberry today. Oh, that's cute. Or a watermelon.
You hit rock bottom. Bounced hard.
What's with that?
You're gonna feel that one for a while.
Living for the drama, I see.
His shirt says your logo here.
We got others to cover.
I love both. I think that's cute.
I know. But rebirth is never easy.
Rebirth?
Hello?
We all needed help through this one. We are rare.
How?
Precious.
Do I have a tattoo now?
Just tell me, what the fuck am I?
We are.
Batman.
Wow.
Well. We are well.
Ruben calls us
Newman!
There it is.
We are the end point.
Finally.
Humanity distilled.
There's our Newman, alright.
I'm sorry. I had to push you hard. There is some cataclysm level shit coming down the line. It won't wait. And it's not kind. Only
so
Newman like us, can carry humanity through it.
Okay, what does that mean, though?
Plague? Ruben's gonna stop it. Make a vaccine.
Strawberries are
There
delicious.
is
Exactly.
no plague. Reuben.
All fruits are delicious.
He was a good man once, but now he is blinded by desperation. He's not making a cure.
Sure he is.
Oh, she
He's
does
not
have those
making a
things
cure
on her
because
face.
he
That other
can't.
girl.
No one can.
Well, that girl.
Humans.
Nice.
The autophage. Newman. It's an immense life cycle.
She's creepy.
A survival mechanism spanning countless eons. And you, we, are the Omega point.
The fuck does that? I'm just me. You're fucked up, lady.
Well, you are in deep denial. And you've had my 2 cents, so go and ask.
Does she have like
Reuben his
crocodile pants
but whatever
on, or
conclusion
like
you come
snakeskin
to,
pants on?
remember.
Oh, she can talk to us through our brains. Newman cards unlocked. Okay. Newman card. What the fuck is this?
Alright, what's
The
my first
autophage.
one?
It didn't. When you're about to die, a forceful explosion will trigger instead and drain your fury. Attack zombies to regain health. Ooh, that's kind of cool.
Mine is go big or go home. Got a moderate boost to critical damage and even bigger boost when your health is low but your toughness is reduced. So it's like a fucking the equalizer. Alright, we did it.
Down with the sickness. I don't know what that means. Ooh, 2 new skills. Fury mode, your melee attack trigger explosion. Ooh, okay. 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 I am good.
I'm ready.
To confront Dr. Reed.
Ooh, that means we're definitely close to the end then.
Probably.
But I don't think we're
Doc?
that close.
Reed, pick up. Madre, answer me.
Can we go this way? We can go this way.
Running and running and running and running
Running
and running
and
and running.
running and running and running.
No fucking
Ooh,
way.
a helicopter.
Took off from the
Wow.
Surly.
Is he leaving?
Well, duh.
Durr.
No.
We can't shoot it down. What are we gonna shoot it down with?
We'll see what the cutscene awaits.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, Red,
oh
follow.
my
Oh, hello,
gosh.
sir. Oh my
No,
goodness,
don't
he's
touch
dropping a
me!
line.
Don't touch me!
Did they all leave? No, he just...
Is it me or does candy gum taste better when you get it from a friend? You know, there is that saying that like things taste better when they're free, you know? I'm here.
Hello.
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 Hello. Hello.
Ruben and Tisha just flew out of here.
Asshole.
Oh.
He didn't say anything?
Not a damn thing.
I love free things.
Jimmy's
So
trying to
yummy.
figure it
I
out.
know.
Ah, cool. Wish me luck. I'm going in. What's happening, Jimmy?
Fucking piece of shit. I know what you
Why are you
did.
drawing it on
Dude,
me?
Take it easy.
It's all in there. Ruben, Shatlin, whatever the fuck that is, and your name. Over and over.
Wait, why?
You all started the outbreak.
What?
You
I
fucking
don't,
lie, but I
I
won't
don't know
dismiss
shit. He kept me in the dark too. He told me they'd make a vaccine
Jimmy!
from my blood.
Hopefully I can join mid.
I just wanted to get the
Cutscene?
hell out of here.
Oh, did you get kicked?
Yeah, I got kicked.
I'm
we got
sorry.
4 more. We got 4 more quests.
Should have put a bullet in him.
4 more.
So we've only done 2. Okay. So we're not gonna finish this thing.
Stupido!
Oh, there we go. There we go.
Found
On
out
mid
where
cutscene.
he's gone.
I know where he's gone. He's flown to some lab on Hollywood Boulevard.
Jimmy,
What?
everyone's freaking out. We need you out here.
Jimmy! Put the gun down, Jimmy!
All right. In a minute.
In his Tommy Bahama shirt.
What should I tell him?
You're an actor, right? You're Jimmy Montana off the TV? So go act like you know what the fuck you're doing.
Yeah.
Are you about to sell and Astro just disappearing before the payout? Yeah.
9 fucking seasons.
Oh yeah, I always. Yeah, that sucks.
Lol.
Hey! Shut your holes, bitches! Jimmy Montana's in charge now.
You tried, Carla, but enough's enough. Time to call it quits. Emma?
We're good, Parley,
Emma
we're
Jaunt?
good.
It's me. You there?
Hello? Did your doctor get you out?
Nope. He fucked me over. We're gonna make our own way. There's a helicopter in Hollywood Boulevard. And I know a pilot who's your biggest fan. You gotta persuade him to fly.
Subject ID Bruno.
Hey, if you
That's
think I'm gonna
you.
fuck some creep so you can fly out of here.
Fuck some creep.
Hey, come on, man. You really think I'd ask that? He can get us all out. You just gotta give him a pep talk. He's been living in the sewers for like decades.
Oh,
Penicillin,
splendid.
amoxicillin.
We'd have more chance on a magic carpet.
Did you miss
Everyone's
anything? Not
fucked us.
really.
Army, the doctor.
My internet just being a
Probably
poo.
recasting you already.
Bet they are the wankers. Okay, I'll meet him. But no promises.
He's in the big sewer pipe by your house. I'm leaving now.
Can't wait.
Paracetamol? Penicillin? It just says co. I also have been living in the sewer for a decade. Same.
Where's the
I
store?
also am a sewer
Hey,
rat. Jimmy.
Lemonade, food,
Jimmy. Jimmy. Alright, let's sell some crap. This one. This one. This one. This one. Bye. Bye. Oh, 15K for that? Holy shit.
15K? How much you got?
I am the metaphorical sewer rat. I am the sewer. I am the sewer. 15K, I don't have... I have more than 15K, but if I spend 15K, then I will not have more than 15K. If that makes sense.
I don't know. Sounds like shit.
Sounds like poor people talk. Alright. What doing? Oh, this is what's doing. Rendezvous with Sam and Ella and Emma and Bella Air. Poor people gross. I know, right? Poor people are disgusting.
We're gonna Bel Air?
We're going to Bel Air. Egg. Egg. Wait, did I do... I didn't do Pinecone yet, did I? I didn't.
No.
Let's do Pinecone before I forget.
Okay. Do Pinecone.
Gets my millions. Can't relate. I know. I'll never get millions in Sea of Thieves now because I'll never play it again.
Until tomorrow.
No, tomorrow's Redfall. Tomorrow is Redfall. Are you not coming to Bel Air with me?
I am. Just... But you haven't, Oh, there's...
I only count in bald eagles. One bald eagle. 2 bald eagles. Waiting for the button. Price. Oh, my legs asleep. Oh, my legs asleep.
Lying out here, thrown away like spoiled meat.
Whew.
Uncovering the root of these trends will take us so much closer to understanding the virus. Does that not spark any curiosity in that dull skull of yours?
The dull
Sure
skull?
it does. I'm curious about many things. Like how on God's earth we came to be related. Maybe it's the rotters. Get inside your head, they make a mess.
Sure.
Maybe I never even had a sister.
Sure.
Yeah. Why do you say things
Well,
like
there.
that?
Dios mío.
I see you extended the challenge. That doesn't sound like me. That doesn't sound like something that I would do. That sounds made up. This one's actually better than this one. Okay. Lies? Poorly, I've never told a lie in my life. The accusations are unreal.
Hey, abuela.
Unreal. That's what she said, lol.
Good to see
I'm kidding,
you.
Poorly. You're right. You're always right, and I'm wrong. You're right.
No, I burnt my mop. It was that to shove it up a certain culo.
We thinking of the same pair of culos here?
I must confess, I raised my hand to Emma and Sam.
Oh no.
Not something they'll forget in a hurry.
Oh no.
No doubt.
Ah,
No
Emma
doubt.
was such a lovely girl once.
How to
Fame
judge
has not
Poorly?
been kind
Oh
to
my
her.
goodness.
But perhaps something good can come from all this horror.
If we're lucky.
Yes, maybe. I just think perhaps with Sam she can start again.
Sounds nice, but I'm not holding out for a miracle.
She's like, I want her to
Miracles
hook back up
happen.
with the famous guy.
She gave me this house, you know.
Huh.
She gave me
We'll
that.
be safe now. For a moment, I saw the old Emma.
Right, like I'm sure she gave you the house.
Where is she?
Ah, you only just missed them. After my chancla, well, they seem keen to leave. They're waiting for you.
It looks like a Newman. What does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean? You can't be just calling people just Newmans. Poor abuela
You wouldn't be laughing if you knew what's down
with her holy sweater.
God watch over you all.
So just
Whatever happens,
chaos.
you will always be welcome at the Salazar residence.
The Salazar residence.
Gracias,
Oh,
abuela.
thank God.
You're a Newman. Think about that. I bet this is all her fault. Wow,
Can't say
guys.
I care for Emma's
Can't
baby.
believe you're Newmanists.
What else is there to do?
I really thought better of you guys. I didn't realize you were gonna be Newmanists.
Numinist?
I'm just really disappointed. That's all I have to say.
There aren't any more graves.
Nar, nar, or nar, clear. I'm a new womanist. There we go. Or nar, clear. Let me climb. Letting in.
They updated this game since we got
Newthamist? What does that mean? Now you're just making shit up. Like I didn't just make shit up myself. Oh no. That sounds like a cult. Kind of, right? Chaos, are you in a cult? The New Peopleist Alliance? Wow, you're just really taking it to... Oh, you're taking the joke like 12 steps further than it needs to go. Listen, don't come in here and like say things in my chat and then just leave. Like, are you self-promoing? You can't just come in here and be making all these like funny jokes, taking attention away from the streamer. Jeez. People have no respect these days. People have no respect these days. Jeez. I am the cult. Chaos is captain of the Sot cult. Oh, is that what it's called? The Sot cult? Oh. That sounds interesting. What is respect? A type of cake? Eyes, please, listen. Oh, he's immune to my fire. Alright, I'll switch. Alright, I'll switch. You talked me out of it.
Firestorm Slaver? Just... How do we get in there?
Oh my god! I keep trying to throw my thing. Oh my god. I blew up. Do we have any weapons? Oh, here we go. Here's one.
I should have,
The nail gun. I'm out of ammo. But are you staying in a circle? I'm making a cult to rival you.
And I don't mean like
Swaggish. What is your cult about? Tell me. Do you support penis versus penis in your cult? Because I need to know. Whee!
I'm gonna die if I do that. Ooh, I didn't catch on fire.
My health is not low. I literally just used a med kit.
You were walking to some floaties.
Oh, well, that's stupid. It's cult-ish. It's a cult. It's cultish, like the cultish language. Aw, so you're like bilingual. That's cool. Wow. 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 What's in here? Nothing. No things. One thing. Nothing good. The cult of Schwagnesheim is about being gay. Is about being gay and doing crime. Listen, that's what we all already do, isn't it? Isn't it?
Oh, I forgot it. We just down through here. Or
By but polar but bears. It's two bears. Brosip's like, fuck, shit, I'm in. Say less.
Oh, you're here.
Say less.
Stopped by
Well,
yours
shit,
first.
you convinced
Andrea
me.
said you wanted to get a
Yes,
so-
well, she really wanted us to stay, but...
We have to be firm with her.
Hey, who's out there?
Patton, it's Carla.
Carla!
Movie star charm, okay?
I can roll my R's really good. Carla! Astro, let's hear it.
Hey. Oh.
Hello.
Let's hear it.
It's a mess.
Let's hear it.
Everywhere.
From the pro.
Oh my god. It's the weirdest.
Do it. Astro, do it.
Do it.
Carla.
Carla.
Carla. Carla.
There's no need to kneel.
Carla.
We're not the queen. Call me Emma.
I got a good thank
on.
you.
Patton.
Tapping.
And I'm Sam B. You know, who do you voodoo, bitch?
Who do you voodoo, bitch?
Patton.
That's
I
a
really
song
need
from
your
the
help.
first game, guys. That was the opening credits.
There's a helicopter on Hollywood Boulevard. All we need is a pine.
Like full circle, you know?
I can't.
References.
You know Omen
Easter
Tip?
eggs, if you will.
Yeah?
Remember how Randy couldn't get back in a car after his crash? But then, when the monster was about to get me, he suddenly shows up in a Camaro and saves me.
So cool.
I need you to be my Randy. Be Randy
Nerd.
for all of us.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Okay,
Just
yeah.
a little bit.
I'll try. For you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think I remember how to fly.
Oh my god.
We're going to die in a fireball.
Yeah, we all are,
Big
probably.
smiles. Come on.
What'd
Let's
yours
wait
say?
for the happy ending.
Emma Jaunt. The rise of the goose spider.
Thank you, kind sir.
Oh.
Don't worry about
Oh yeah,
it.
I forgot that they're all obsessed with this one show, The Badge. In a Scottish
Onwards
accent.
and upwards, man.
Do I say things in a Scottish accent? So that affects a larva buildup on larger apex variants. Okay. Guess I can't even read the one clue. Where the hell is Jamal? Okay. The Metro. I do a lot. Interesting.
At least they're real. Why did you come back?
Shit. This ain't the time.
In Hollywood.
It's like there's gonna be something creepy that's gonna jump out at me. I already know.
Yes! Thought it was a red one.
After. Me.
Wait, why are you coughing?
He smokes a lot? Look around.
Wait, is he gonna turn? Is Sam B the final boss?
What do you mean? He's immune. Oh. All right.
You sons of bitches. Hello?
You watch yourself, fucker.
Uh-oh.
That's a new thing.
No, it was the clown guy.
Is it? Was it a butcher?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Need to stabilize
Equalize
the
the
pressure. to
pressure.
get
Wow.
past.
Okay.
Oh, I already found the valve. Oh, well, I had the 50. What else do we need? I'm at the 50.
10? I don't know how to read these.
Oh, I haven't. What do you mean? Yeah, 10.
I don't know how to read them. You did them last time.
Oh my god, okay. That's too much.
Bomb
20.
them? How do you do?
Alright.
Oh, needs valve wheel.
111 and 111, and then we have one that has 10.
This is fine.
Ooh, that one has 10 over there, but we can't get to it. What'd you do? Did you get the wheel?
No.
Oh, here's a wheel.
Where? I'm on fire.
Alright, this one's off. We need to shut these off.
Arson, yummy. Okay, now with the dice.
Just
And with the water.
Good job.
Water.
Now we can do 10.
Can.
We're at 80.
What
Why
is
I don't
happening?
want it to be at 80. Just turn off, dude. There it is. Off. And turn the 20 off. 20's off. Why is it 10
What about
off?
Arson Daily? What are you doing?
Right now we need 20, which is this one.
20. That one's did it. That one did
And
it.
now we need the 50, which is turn off here. And then turn on here. And that's the 50.
And we're good.
We
Better
did it.
hurry.
Oh, there's a branding runner.
Killing me on fire. We need to turn the water on. No, 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 no.
Alright, we're good.
Water. Whatever. Whatever. Ew.
I have no health packs.
I just wanted to look at it.
Oh, you got a good look at it, all right. Oh
I.
We lost
It
so
blew
many.
in my face.
There was a trap
Yes, I
right
said
there.
that.
Alright, are you health? No. When I need health. And there's nothing in this.
Oh, a
thing.
shotgun. Water. water. I don't need it. I don't need it. I need it. Get riggedy wrecked. Oh. Give me this health pack that just came out of your vajooge. It's poorly. Running and running. Hello?
Emma!
Oh, you are dead.
Sam, you there?
Oh, you are dead. Hello? 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 You're dead.
There's a fuse here. Oh, I need your
Oh, is
your
there?
water pump here.
My water bump?
Yeah.
My water
Oh,
bump?
just-
Water. Ba-da-ba-ba. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba. Give me this treasure. Ba-da-da-da-da-da. I'm electrocuted.
Alright, whatever.
What is it? I can't pick it up.
I'm gonna die. You gotta get me. You gotta get me. Ooh, I'm alive.
It's a sword? Like it's straight up a sword? I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get you. Alright, I'm doing it.
Alright,
Yeah,
let's wait.
to get.
Go for it. Just go for it. Just go for it.
I got it. I did it. I got it. It's a fucking claymore, dude. Look at it. Look, hold on. Where is it? Look.
Sword.
It's a full-on sword. I'm gonna be just like dying for the next however many minutes. Oh, it is so slow. This is not happening.
What do you mean?
This the claymore is like so slow. What? Oh no! Oh no! A butcher!
Can't protect against both sides. Can't protect against both sides. And now.
Yeah! Zombologist.
Oh, looks like we got all. Oh, this was a vicious butcher. We got them all.
Ooh, we gotta catch them all. Zombie man! Wild.
Keeping them safe, Sam.
Absolutely wild.
Give me snack. Ooh, the protein bar gives a lot of health back.
Hi! Fucking got me.
Oh, wait.
I almost died.
The splat against the wall was so good, though.
Nice. All protein bar good. A little bit of health back.
Is there nothing in here?
Again. No,
Oh,
there's
this is.
nothing in there.
Oh, this looked like a door. It was a debate.
Yeah, I thought it was something.
Why is it stuck in my head? Jeez, I'm so.
I hate it when it does this just to open a door. Really?
I know.
Ooh,
There's zombies.
Yeah, there's a big exploding boy. I still have no health packs. That's okay. We'll manage.
The city's lost to them now.
Oh, this is the other side of the door.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's go kill zombies. Oh, there's a screamer, dude.
Okay, we can. way up in back. Ooh, a first aid kit. Thank the Lord. Thank the Lord.
Oh, I need one of those. Oh god, now
Wow, so many people here. Holy shit.
I am
Oh,
so
I got
close
bit.
to dying. I'm dead. I'm dead. I'm dead. You don't even know how dead I am. You don't even know how dead I am. You don't even know how dead I am.
Oh my god, I'm about to be too. Hold on. Okay, where are you?
I'm
Oh,
live,
there's a
live.
thingy!
Yeah, that's why I thought I was gonna 100% be dead.
Okay. Now that I know he's here. Oh, he spits fucking spikes.
Oh, he's a metro engineer.
Yeah, they spit spikes.
Oh, fuck it. Going all out. Going all out.
I think he's almost dead. He's almost dead. There he is. He's dead.
We did it.
Oh my god. Alright, I got the maintenance area key. Oh, how dead are you? The deadest. So dead. So dead. I am almost as dead as the time somebody spawned a bear in 7 Days to Die. Ew! It was dripping on me. There's a side quest over here? Who would ever? Who would ever? It might be time to play that game again, guys. It might be time. Yeah, 7 days to duel. Oh, look!
Yo, Constant. You still out there? Okay, Constant. Hello?
Wait, don't do it. I want to do this.
Hi there, Constant.
Relating to or inhabiting the underworld.
Oh, so yeah, we can do these, like, scope thingies now. Why would Poorly do something like that? Terrible. Poorly just tried to educate me. Forcibly educate me.
Page 4. Roger that, Captain. Okay, Constant. What you got for me? Okay, Constant. Hey, Constant. Okay, Constant.
Nothing?
What's up?
Are you hitting the button?
Okay, Constance.
There you are.
I got nothing. Yeah, but we got.
I was like, why is it just like repeating the same thing? I sure did. I was trying to educate you on the world of 7 Days to Die. You did such a great job. You did such a good job. But no, for real. I was thinking about playing that game again.
Remember to make health kits.
You're so smart. You're welcome. Thanks. You're so cool. Where is my...
I don't know. Where is your...
I don't know. I don't know anything about anything. I don't know anything about anything, okay? What's that? Wow. Let's do this to this. This is fine, this is fine. This is fine. Okay, that's fine. Okay, ready? Okay. Okay. Hello, goodbye. She looks not like she's having a good time.
Huddle. Huddle.
Huddle. Huddle.
Hey guys, over here.
Where are we supposed to go?
Maybe you're supposed to wait for them. Like,
They're gonna get like wrecked.
Try meeting down the line. Meet up down. Oh, this way.
This way. Okay, chopped him up. Chopped him.
Chopped him.
That was
Guess those three can't have all.
not the right one. Ooh.
We gotta stop the pipes. We gotta stop the pipes.
I know, I was trying. Alright, where does this go?
Can't stop the pipes. Don't look like we can.
I'm looking over here. Oh, there's a fuse door here?
Oh yeah?
Yep. Okay. Dead. Give me something good, give me something good. No.
Got him.
Well.
Get out of the
Why do I keep getting pitchforks? I'm gonna go down, I'm gonna go down, I'm gonna go down.
You down?
No, I'm about to go though.
I'm
about to go though.
I'm alive. Oh, I'm down. But I have health. What the hell's going on here? I'm down, but I have health.
Hi, Laz. Well then. How was your day, Laz? Welcome in.
Alright, and I level. Okay, sweet.
Oh, whoa, 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 okay. Oh. It's enough for us to run, I think. Okay. There we go. Is there anything else on this? Ow! Tried to move and I got stuck. Oh, another one.
You can kick them. You can kick them so they don't like explode.
No, I know. I was trying to actually move, but I got stuck on the door, that the seat that was behind me. Tired because work will find otherwise? Sorry to hear you're tired, but I understand. Oh, there's so much fire there. We have to go in and up. Interesting. Good. Oh, there. Hi, Yaga.
You guys still okay?
Hey, it's Emma. Patton's got us into a side tunnel, and so far it's clear.
Yaga, you down for like an hour or so Apex after stream?
How about you?
If not, it's fine.
Getting there. You know, just a couple of setbacks. See you on the other side.
Be careful.
Yep.
Oh my god. Okay.
Power's out.
Up. Oh, and there's the thing to restore power.
Yep.
Oh god.
Electric screamer. Oh. Why is she in like...
Did you pick up my sword? Oh no, here it is. I was like...
No.
My katana. Yeah, I know.
I don't think we can. Didn't we discover that before?
Yeah, you're right.
I'm in the mood to shoot. Okay, we shoot. We shoot after we stream.
This'll work.
Bitch. And you blocked it, okay?
Honestly, I know you said catch, but it just happened to sound like bitch. because like the timing was like I hit the battery. So it sounded like you were like, bitch, because I knocked into the battery. But I know that's not what you said. But it was just like, bitch. Holy shit. I'm throwing it in there.
It'll just let him come to us and trigger all of them.
It's fine.
Oh, there's another battery? Oh, never mind. That's a heavy-duty battery.
Excuse Mut to chut, exactly. In the mut to chut.
Okay, well, how are we supposed to get the battery across?
One bad jump, it's gonna stay.
Over here, probably. And then we break this.
Oh, you gotta break it because I have the battery.
Break! Oh no, no, no,
Oh,
break.
break. Can I...
There we go. There we go. Okay, this door
you can
opens.
Open it. Oh, but it...
Okay. And then it goes across, yeah? Yeah, you did. And then you
Wait,
go up, you
I
dropped it. You dropped it. Hold on, do I throw it over?
Oh, you can, yeah.
There you go.
Oh, okay. But we gotta be careful though, because I think the charges, like, stop. Okay.
What do these doors do? Like, where are they supposed to go?
We made it. Alright, the power's back on. Oh, there was another battery thing that, like, look at all these batteries.
Oh, we can go in here.
In where? Yeah, you can go in there now because the battery, like, popped up. Electrocutor spike?
Electrocutor spike? Yes. Interesting. Why did you put it that button? Where's the other door? Here.
Oh, there's zombies here? Are they coming? Oh yeah, they're coming. I got murdered.
I'm electrocuting myself.
Okay, sure.
I love this for me.
I am down.
I know, hold on, I have to wait literally a second. There we go.
Oh, it wasn't that bad.
Oh, it wasn't that bad. You're right.
It wasn't that bad. Don't be dramatic. Okay, we go this way.
Yep.
And then we go this way. Give me this health back. Yes, amazing. Thank you. Alright. So now we can go in here? Ooh.
Really? Okay, we're stuck in here?
No, we can go in here.
Oh, it closes one door and opens the other. Okay.
Yeah, because it's an airlock, so. I did not mean to. No. Ah, where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from, Cotton Eye Joe?
I'm down with health again. I don't understand what's going on. I keep getting down with health.
All right, you're fine.
That is kind of weird. Is it a perk? Like, do you have like health for like when you come back?
No, but I kept getting downed like with health left over. Like I am not reaching 0 health before dying. I got a battery.
Oh no. Why can't I get rid of this? Alright, fuck it, I'm dropping it. I don't want this one.
He's so nice.
How come it's not like launching them anymore?
Did you get rid of your Peggy?
I did.
I don't know.
Oh, nice. God, why is my health taking so long to come back? My health is taking so long! She really sounds like she's struggling. Why am I not getting health back? Like, I thought that was like one of my passive perks.
Oh my god! Could I? Yes. How you doing over there, dudes?
We're good. Patton thinks we're nearly there.
Are we about to steal a train?
You?
Well, I just found a train. It might still be working. Gonna try it right now.
A train? Can you drive one?
Random button pushing has worked for me so far. Enjoy your walk.
Thanks.
What does yours say?
Power up the train.
Noisy. Yeah.
Kill them all.
Random button pushing hasn't worked for me so far.
Alright.
Okay.
What the fake? I have no health again. Amazing. Oh, now I have no health? Okay. I feel like I get health back when I... Yeah, when I maimed him. No. No! Don't blow up next to me. Come on, come on, come on. Get wrecked with my claws. Get wrecked with my claws, motherfuckers. Get wrecked by my claws. Oh, they're like coming out of like the holes and the woodwork, and they're just coming. Okay. They just won't stop coming. Gosh, I've been heaved upon. Oh, I couldn't even move. I'm not really looking at health pack. Oh. Alright, I get it. I'm down. I could not
I can't hear you.
Get out of there.
Hello?
Huh? Oh, shit. How long have I been muted?
I wouldn't know.
I don't know how long I've been muted.
I thought you were doing like stream stuff.
No. I'm down. I don't know even what happened.
Not in the cards right now.
Oh, you know what it was? Because I hit F4 to look at one of my quests, and F4 is the mute button on Discord.
Oh, maybe.
That's exactly what it is. Because I was like, I didn't mute on purpose to talk to or anything. That's almost guarantee what it was. Oof, about to go down, I'm about to go down, I'm on fire, yeah, I'm about to go down.
You can alt like try to save yourself sometimes. Alright, where'd you go down? Over there?
I'm about to, but not yet.
Oh, you're not down yet? Okay.
No, I had literally had like the smallest smidgen of health.
You gotta come back
yeah,
to the
I'm
quest
coming. Oh my god, he's immune. Holy. Oh, he's back.
Oh, I all beat. Okay, whatever. And healed at the same time. Great.
There we go. There we go. All right. I have no health, but yeah, sure. Let's go to the next quest area. Huh?
You're full health on my
I know. I meant like I have no health packs. Like I have no I have no extra health.
We'll be fine.
Maybe, possibly.
Just you wait.
Just you wait.
We will be okay.
A-okay.
Yo, I've made it to Hollywood. How you guys doing? Guys?
Oh no, they're dead.
Guess I'm the first one here.
Fuck!
Did
filled
they
the
die?
platform. Need to get up there somehow.
It's locked. Oh. A fuse box needs a fuse. Wait, I don't have a fuse?
What opened?
I don't know.
Oh, nothing opened?
No,
Oh, this over here, over here, yeah, over here.
Yeah.
Oh god! It's booby traps, so... Just, be good.
What?
Or... that's fine too.
I thought you undid it. I didn't realize that it was a second one. Listen, I am not the smartest, okay? Leave me alone. I'm not smart, okay? Leave me alone, I'm not smart.
My goodness.
I'm not smart. Locked from the other side.
Oh, there's freaking... There we go.
Ah, there's what's blocking the door.
Got out. What was that? We need a valve.
You need a valve.
Oh, there it is. It's up there. We did it. Look, we did it. No more water.
We did it.
I mean, we still have to jump out of the way, the little puddles.
Puddles.
But we're fine. You.
I think he's dead.
Think so?
I think so.
Well, if you think so, then he probably is. He probably is if you think so. What do we need? Needs power? Okay.
Ooh, there is a workbench over here.
Zombies nearby?
Workbench!
Zombies are nearby.
Why, are you dead, sir? R.
Alright, there we go.
Now we can use R. Oh, I can't even do it. I am subpar.
You're what?
Subpar.
Don't be.
I wish it were that simple. Do you hear that, chat? Just don't. That's all it takes. Have you tried not being poor? Have you tried not being a poor piece of garbage? Have you tried having money?
It's your lucky day, Carla.
Yeah.
Needs no power.
Following this random wire to... Oh. Easy. We make magic power. Now it has power. Because that logically makes sense. That's disgusting. Thanks, Burley. There was a hot moment I feel like you guys forgot those. There's like a few, we go like a few months at a time when there's like no quotes. Holy shit. Hydrate? Okay, hold on. Num num. Got my Propel because regular water is gross. Button. Button. This seems not like the best place to be. Gross! Disgusting! Disgusting! Okay, good. Okay. Butane. It isn't always on top of my mind. No, I know. But that's what I'm like. No. Like, why do I feel like everything I say just offends somebody? It's not what I meant. It's just like there's just like it goes like periods of time where like there's like no quotes, and then there'll be one night where there'll be like 7 quotes. It's just people forget is all. You weren't offending. I was confirming. Okay.
You made it.
Okay, good. Okay, good.
You guys had fun.
No time for a debrief. Got a mob on our tail.
Yeah, nearly there.
Someone's gonna die. Someone's about to die right here.
And it's gonna
Who
be,
is it?
I bet, our pilot.
You think it's gonna be, what's his name?
Yeah.
Patton?
Yeah.
I can't do it, not up there.
Patton, listen to me. Every movie has this moment. The hero is tested.
Oh yeah,
in
you're
the
right. Sometimes I
worst
do just
way,
for
but it
gore.
always comes through.
It's okay. You're offended though? I knew
believe
it.
in you.
I knew it.
Come on, let's do it together.
She's gonna die.
Yo.
Just trying to help a brother out.
Into the fucking light.
So bright.
Okay. It's Hollywood. There are so many zombies out there. I can hear them all.
Zombies can't use guns, right?
No. So let's get
Who
out.
are you cutting the head off?
Oh, we straight up cut to the...
This doctor. I thought he was a good guy. Wanted my blood to cure the outbreak. But it turns out he actually kind of started it.
What?
Oh shit.
Every fucking time.
Hey, it doesn't matter. Ancient history. The authorities can figure out all this crazy shit once we're out of here.
Works for me. Let's go.
Sam B's, they gotta say something.
This isn't right.
Oh no, what is
The
it?
heroes don't run away at the end. They see things through.
Real
Oh
life
my
isn't
God.
like the movies.
You think I don't know that, huh? The
Wait,
movies
Sam's
show us how we
freaking out.
could be. If we were better people.
Sam, will you just tell him? Sam!
Sam's freaking out.
He's burning up. We have to fly him
He's
out.
turning into a Zambi! A Zambi!
He's not immune.
Get it? His name is Sam B because he's a Zambi, guys!
I'm staying here.
He's turning. He's turning. He's turning. He's turning.
Oh,
He's turning.
Yeah, look. Oh, it's a different strain.
Time was I given anything for my name?
No, look at him.
You cracked the code. I knew it.
I lost what really matters.
No, don't get so close. Don't get so close. Don't get so close. He's gonna bite you.
Emma?
No, kid.
No, kid. She's gonna shoot him. Shoot him. She's gonna shoot him. Do it.
If he flips, we got to.
I know.
I thought it was gonna be Pat.
I thought she was just gonna do it right now. Just take him out.
I was trying to run away. I'm good
For
at
love.
it.
Just a little, just a tiny
I've
bit of
got to
numb for
face
love.
this. Find out why Ruben took my blood. Stop him from hurting anyone else.
Yeah, look at this smile.
Now that's a Hollywood ending. Get back in the nick of time.
You got it. Eyes open for whoever sniped the pilot, huh?
That's why he got your blood, so you can make super zombies. Wow. What are you giving us?
Or super soldiers.
I believe in you.
You're giving us the middle finger?
Yeah, Carla.
It wasn't like on his hand on my screen. Let me see if it happened in yours.
Okay,
Oh no, yours was good. For me, it was like not
are,
on his hand. That was great.
Oh, a Newman card unlocked. Okay.
A Newman card?
Yeah.
Kaboom! Oh, that's pretty cool. Did you get Kaboom? Or did you already have Kaboom?
I got Seismic Stomp and Corpse Blossom.
Oh.
Sam was one of the immune ones in the first game. This is apparently a different strand that he is not immune to.
But it was resistant because he's been the whole
yeah,
game pretty.
Yeah, he just got bit not too long ago, right?
I don't know.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna keep the one I have on.
Yeah, me too.
Okay.
Alright, check the clock.
Before Pinky let that guy make super Zambarinos? I know. We can call it now if we want to kind of just get ahead of it and. No.
Maybe because I think we've been like an hour per mission, and I don't want to kind of leave halfway through.
Yeah, we've been about 3.5 hours. I think this is a good point.
We're definitely so close. We're like a far away.
Oh my gosh, this gun is literally just sitting here because I can't pick it up, so it's sitting. Okay, there we go. All right. So go ahead and go to main menu, I guess.
Oh, right.
And yeah, this is where we will. I know we did so good. We did a couple.
Okay.
I think we're halfway. I think we started with 6. And...
That was the last mission.
Wait, we have 1 mission left.
Oh my god.
Do you want to? We have 40 minutes. Do you want to try?
All right, I will try, but I cannot. Like a second past 10, I cannot.
No, that's fine. That's fine. We'll try. We'll try. This is if this is it. This is the last of it.
I'm joining.
This is the last of us. Really? This is it. This is end. This is the end. All right, this is the end.
Rejoining.
All right, rejoining. All right. We got this. All right, we got this. All right, we're just gonna speed run it.
Speed run it, really? Oh, but that isn't gonna be. Oh, we just jump. I was waiting to open the door. Hollywood Boulevard.
What are the Reeds doing here?
Okay.
Oh, you gotta search. Hunt down Dr. Reed. Okay.
Egg. All hail the egg.
Alright. Wait, what's this? Camera.
She's not reusing the bolts. They must be in a rush.
Who is she?
Seriously, the fuck are they going?
Who uses the bolts? Oh, the girl. Okay.
Yeah.
Were they all like in cahoots? No, they were like against them.
I don't know. Mark throwing his points away to the Twitch gods. Speedrunning strats, let's go! Oh no, let's go!
Broken.
I haven't got screamer lungs.
Wait, how did she did get in this way. There's this, see, you can just follow the arrows and you'll figure out where they went.
Yeah. Alright, over here.
Like you gave up on your skating dreams? Lol.
re-aging clinic? So what? It makes you look older?
Okay, Bruno, you
Okay.
the mess.
Well,
Needs re-aging clinic key card.
Did you hear what Bruno said about the re-aging clinic?
To make you old, yeah.
Does it make you old again? Oh my god.
Not up here, right?
We gotta investigate the clinic. Alright, well the dude should have been a clue.
Yeah.
Okay, oh. There it is.
It is nice. Nice.
What?
Oh, storage locker.
The trail ends here?
Okay.
I'm just
Names
gonna
and
store some
IDs,
stuff.
including Dr. Ruben Reed.
Alright.
What is this place?
Doc wasn't being
What
too
is this?
There's a blueprint, do or die.
I will
Blueprint.
keep all these, I guess. Alright. Where's the blueprint? Where's...
Oh.
Oh, there
Right.
it is. There it is. There it is. Alright, let's see if I can repair. Pretty much repair everything. I'm probably not gonna need any money.
I mean, maybe for after endgame stuff?
Well, yeah, but we're about to go fight the boss. Okay, investigate.
Oh, we got a little voice script. Alright, one of these probably moves. And there's a little water on this one, so I'm sure it's gonna be one of these. We still haven't investigated everything in here. What could
one
possibly
thing left.
we missed?
So...
Oh, there's a little button here.
Yeah, a secret door.
Ooh.
So, this place really is a cover.
Nice try, Ruben. But I'm not giving up this time.
Would they call him Ruben? Wouldn't it be? Let me see how it's written. Alright, you got health kits and stuff.
I have one health kit.
Probably. Oh, there they are.
Oh, okay.
Sick fucking experiment stops right here,
Wait!
Doctor.
You don't understand.
Why is she against us?
Oh. She's... Because we just fought her last time, remember?
Yeah, why don't we find out? What am I, Doc? You infected the city. People I loved. All of them.
Dad? What did you do?
What did you do?
I killed millions to save billions.
Why? Why did you do this?
Because you were so rare. Only 1 in a million becomes a Newman, an autophage hybrid. I couldn't complete the cure without you.
The cure's worse than the disease.
No. The autophage isn't an illness, right? 25 years ago, I found a clock hidden in our DNA, counting down to the day of our extinction.
He was also behind the
When the
first one.
clock hits 0, the autophage will erupt in every man, woman, and child on Earth. I had to stop it.
I don't remember
It's in
where the first zombie outbreak came from, I'm not gonna lie.
We weren't built to last. Take that.
Okay, why is her blood though?
Conrad thinks the autophage exists to create the Newman, but your anomaly's the best. Puppets at worst.
I can hear them and feel them. We're joined.
Joined by what? What does it want?
Mama, who wants you, Mama?
Blind to it or she...
Oh, he's turning?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna be the final.
I could only spare a few drops.
The disease is the end of human life on Earth. How bad is the cure, right?
Again. All right? I'm just... Go! I can't hold on much longer!
No! Use it on yourself!
Sweetheart, you don't know what else I did. I modified an unborn baby.
Oh, fuck.
With the Newman blood, she becomes
Oh, that's why her blood was in it.
to be harvested every day for the rest of her life.
Oh.
I've taken everything from you. I'm so sorry.
I'm gonna kill you first. Oh, his eyes like just exploded.
I know what happens next. We gotta go.
Why? I bet he's gonna be the baddest one. Of course. What the hell? Look at that arm. Oh, he turned into one of those guys. I thought it was gonna be like different.
He might be.
Oh, there's a card right there.
He might be a little different. He's gonna be like super strong.
We'll get him. We'll get him. I just punched him in the face. Okay.
I know. Wody.
Alright, it's us and him. We're both like zombies screaming at each other.
Oh, we can't even grab the thing because he knocked us down.
Oh, we have to go there. Oh, look at that, we're like...
It's okay, we can always play again off stream, like, later. I just want to actually finish the game. Alright, this has gotta be it.
Yeah.
Alright, here we are. Kill the Rubinator. Alright.
Rubinator, okay. Eat. Alright, okay. Okay, listen, Ruben.
Oh shit.
Nobody knocked him down.
Yeah.
Alright.
Can I get closer?
Ooh,
yeah,
the leggies are... Oh, there's more zombies? Careful.
Okay, yep. Alright. Holy shit, okay.
Oh, we're... Oh. No, I was gonna heal and I died.
Alright, hold on.
Oh, you
Back at it.
Alright, get up. Yep.
Oh my god.
Med kit, thank you, the Lord.
Oh,
I can't focus the screamer.
Oh, the screamer's inside the thing. Oh, am I down?
Yeah, his legs are weak.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a big one here too.
Alright, kill the screamer.
I'm down. Nope, not down. Okay.
Alright, I have a little...
Alright, I need to not get in the fire. What is... Oh, his slam is rough.
Yep. Ooh, when he hits you... Oh, there's another screamer!
Oh, crap, there's a pressure. Nope, no, don't. Come on.
Oh, there's medkits on the floor if you can try to find them.
Yeah, I've been trying to grab them when I can.
Oh, there's a big dude here. Okay, really?
I know, Crusher, yeah.
Alright, got him.
Alright.
Alright, I'm going.
Zamboy skipped leg day. He did.
Going along. Where is he?
Go.
Come here, I'll go for the
Oh my god.
That's why not. Ooh, the screamer just got melted. I got him. Oh, he's like downed a little bit. Oh, there we go. We might get him. Close.
Hey, look at his little legs. Oh my god, we're taking the skin off of him. Look at his little sticky legs. It's so gross.
Oh, it's almost done. We did it.
It's so gross. Yay.
Yo, no. Did I die? I think we did it.
I play games off stream, not allowed. Right. Sorry guys. I won't play any games off stream.
We killed him.
We did that.
We still have to get back though. To, like,
escape the
exit.
facility. Oh, we get little claws.
I got a crowbar.
Alright, let's go. Pisha! We need Pisha!
She's smart. She wouldn't hang around.
Just chopping everyone in half.
Out of my fucking way!
Open door! Open door! Let me out! Let me out! I'll leave. Over here. I love Pisha. Me too. I want some Pisha. Get to the chopper! Alright, let's go. Running. Chicken and black olives. Ooh. That sounds real good.
Alright, there's no way this mission is over though. That was too quick and easy, in my humble opinion.
Well, it was two of us. Sam's gonna kill us. Sam's gonna be the last boss.
I don't know.
Watch. Watch.
You seen
Watch.
Tisha?
Oh. Who?
A girl with a crossbow.
Oh, I haven't seen anyone. The doctor?
Dead.
Unbelievable.
Mierda.
Goodbye.
Mierda.
Again?
Wait!
I know what that
It's what I
means.
deserve.
This time, there's another way. I got a one-shot cure from the lab. It was meant for me, but I don't need
Don't
it.
give it to Sam.
Really? I even forgot we had it.
In his head?
Not his head, you idiot.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, she was about to do it straight in the dome.
We're about to murder him.
See, I'll always come back for you.
Oh my god.
That's the reason. I'm starving. Got any of that pastrami?
Pastrami.
There's no way this is how this fucking game ends. You got any of that pastrami?
We gotta get
There's
going.
no way. There's no way that's how this ends.
Let's go, Patton.
You guys go.
I am deceased.
There's a girl
You
out
got
there.
any of that
She's the cure.
pastrami?
You could really use a friend.
Here.
And we get the hammer.
Go save the
Oh.
Thanks, man.
Thank you. We won't waste this.
Nope.
Good luck.
I don't think it's several endings. There wasn't a lot of choices to make. You know?
I don't think there are different endings.
Yeah, I don't think so.
There weren't really any choices to make.
Yeah.
Except maybe you could hang around more to this, like maybe save some people.
Yeah.
For side quests and stuff. Oh, he doesn't remember how to fly.
He definitely doesn't know how to fly.
Is he gonna crash? Can you imagine? Crashes into a
It just blows up and that's the end?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
And it's done.
Oh, they.
Cadenza?
The song is incoherent.
Decided to stay with us?
For Tisha.
For Tisha.
Only reason.
Alright, so that's the guy that sniped him. Well, can we teleport now like they can? Look at all those zombies on the other side.
There's no way. Oh, I was like, there's no way. It's just like, fight! And that's the end.
There's the big dude. What are we gonna do against the big dude?
She just knocked him in the nuts.
Ooh, there you go. Right in the knee. Ooh. Ooh. Dead
Yo,
Island.
let's go.
Alright, that was cool.
We did it. We finished the game on stream, guys. I finished the game on stream.
Good job.
I know. It's like so rare for me to do. To finish a game on stream. You did it.
Look, now we can actually play it off stream, though.
I know.
We can do side quests.
Cool. So
oh, we got a
here.
new Slayer card.
So you completed the story quest. There's still plenty to do. Keep an eye out for side quests. Okay, cool. So yeah, awesome. All right, back to main menu, and let's find someone to raid. Yee.
Oh, I didn't return to my but that's okay.
Oh, I don't think you
24 out of
necessarily have to.
24. That was dope.
Took 15 minutes for the last of it. I know, that's crazy that it took like we were like, we don't have enough time, we don't have enough time, and that ended up taking 15 minutes.
We also didn't know how long it was gonna be. I was like, it was gonna be the last mission.
You did the thing! I did the thing. Alright, let's find someone to
We
raid.
rushed it too, so.
We did. Let's find someone to
But that's okay.
Let's
That was
find
fun though. Oh, I liked it. We have to do the side quests though, like in a year after you're done with Zelda.
Hopefully it won't take that long. Alright, let's find.
Realistically, I'd say.
Thanks for stream, was fun. Thanks. I wanted to try to finish, you know, as many games as possible this week before Zelda comes out on Friday. So I'm glad that I actually did manage to finish one. I think I have someone to raid. Let's see how long. They've only been going for an hour and a half.
Nice. Very nice. All right. Well,
yeah. Thanks, Astro.
I will go prepare because I guess I can start a little earlier now.
Yes, go study, go do responsible things. We did the game, we did the thing.
We did it. That was fun though. We have to.
Yeah.
I'll keep it installed. So.
Yeah. No. I want to like keep playing it for sure and do some other stuff afterwards. Yeah.
And get the weirder, wackier weapons. Hopefully, there's
the weirder, wackier weapons.
Hopefully, there's those wacky, fun weapons.
Yeah, it seems like there would be. All right. Let me see if I can find someone. Good night, Astro.
Good night.
Everyone say good night, Astro. Bye.
Good night.
Bye. Okay, let's find someone to raid. I thought I found someone to raid, but they are in a BRB, and I don't know how long they're going to be in BRB. And I'm not going to lie, I have to pee. I have to go piss, girl. So we are going to find someone else to raid. Because I have to pee. Oh, let's find this person here. Let's go raid Murig, who is doing Secret of Mana Randomizer. I believe it's a retro game. I don't get to raid Murig very often because schedules. So yeah, let's go hang out with them. I will be back live tomorrow with the crew. I believe we're going to continue some more Redfall. I would like to try to get as much Redfall finished this week as well. So tomorrow will be Redfall. Thursday is a part 2 of our collaboration with Envoy. And then Friday, I will be live pretty much as soon as I get home from work. So I want to try to be live about 2 p.m. on Friday, starting Zelda, so I can get a few hours of Zelda in before the crew joins for some Redfall. So we are streaming for the next like 10 days straight. So you're going to get sick of me. But I hope you all have a great night. And yeah, I will see you guys tomorrow for some Redfall. And then, yeah, have a good night, guys. You're going to get sick of me, I'm telling you. Bye! Wait, why isn't it switching?